Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Winter finals will be here before you know it, and there's still a need for registered officials. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. Welcome to 2023 as we pick up our winter sports season already in progress. While it seems like the fall season just wrapped up, winter championships will be here soon. So let's get you caught up on the whens and wheres for each of our sports. First is the Upper Peninsula Swimming and Diving Finals for both boys and girls on February 18th. And then it's on to Team Wrestling Finals on February 24th and 25th in Kalamazoo. And that's followed by Boys and Girls Skiing Finals February 27th. March is when the schedule really heats up. The competitive cheer finals will be March 2nd and 3rd this year, and those will be held at the McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant. Girls and boys bowling finals will be held March 3rd and 4th, the same weekend as individual wrestling finals at Ford Field. Ice hockey drops the puck March 9th through 11th for semifinals and finals at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth. Gymnastics finals are that weekend as well. Those will be held at Lakeland High School. And the Lower Peninsula Boys Swimming and Diving finals are also March 10th and 11th. Girls basketball invades the Breslin Center on March 16th for the start of 3 days of semifinals and finals action. Champions will be crowned on Saturday, March 18th. And then the boys move in the next weekend. Semifinal play starts March 23rd, and all four finals will be Saturday, March 25th. Both boys and girls basketball finals will be carried live on Bally Sports Detroit. For schedules, pairings, brackets, tickets, and streaming information, the best place to go is to the newly redesigned MHSAA.com. Everything that you need for our winter finals can be found there. Game balls this week go to Belding junior wrestler Jack Ward. He notched career win number 100 over the break, joining his older brother Mitchell and his dad/coach Art as 100-match winners at Belding. To Bedford's Victoria Gray, she scored 25 points in a 9-point win over South Lyon East in the Airport Showcase. Bedford is off to a 7-0 start this year in girls basketball. And to Montebello senior J.T. Smith. He went over the 1,000 career points mark in a win over St. Charles.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MIStudentAid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
If you've seen the movie Hoosiers, you know that a basketball rim is 10 feet above the ground. That's the same if you're in the gym at Beaver Island High School or at Little Caesars Arena. But what are the other court dimensions? To start, courts are typically 84 feet long, but can be up to 94 feet long. They're also 50 feet wide. The free throw line is 15 feet from the face of the backboard, and the high school three-point line is 19 feet 9 inches from the basket. Each hoop is a circle, 18 inches in diameter. The boys play with a basketball 29.5 inches in circumference. The girls play with one that's 28.5 inches in circumference. And believe it or not, 2 girl balls will go through a standard rim at the same time.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you are interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. Sticking with officiating, since 2020, the number of registered officials in Michigan has fallen from more than 9,000 to less than 8,000. It's a dip that puts extra strain on our current officials. But for the fall 2022 season, the number of registered officials is more in line with where we were pre-pandemic, and things seem to be slowly trending up. The MHSAA has increased pay for postseason games and provided membership in the National Association of Sports Officials. Membership gives officials expanded insurance coverages, access to professional services and development, and a subscription to an MHSAA-focused referee magazine. But there's still a need for more. If you are interested, go to MHSAA.com and click on Officials for more information. Because without officials, it's just practice. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
To head over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket. Elevates. Slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Out to the point. Rosema. Innocent space. Shot scores. 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4-on-8. Line. Giving on to Titus. Titus angles. Pull up shot for the lead. Good. Brady Titus. A scream to the heavens after he knocks it down.
And hello everyone, and welcome to Vanderslice Gymnasium and game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here this evening. Another big doubleheader on deck as we kick off our Grandville Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Nate Chandler with you, as you just saw a moment ago, and we'll have some of the coverage coming up here. We do have the unified game, or another unified game. Grand Rapids Christian has traveled to Grandville tonight, so we'll have the last little bit of that we can show you here on a little bit of a special, I guess, version then of the Bates Agency pregame show. But West Ottawa comes to town tonight, CT, as we jumpstart the second half of the OK Red season. Both the girls and the districts. On the boys' side, we know what's going on. We'll have plenty to talk about that. But this is when it starts to get real. It's February. The calendar's turned. You only have one run through the conference left. And now it really, really gets rolling.
Yeah, I think the first time through the conference, things get themselves sorted out a little bit. You get your first matchup against each of those rival schools and kind of get to see where you're at, but then you really start to put things together here and got to get them rolling as you start to try to win a conference for some of these teams and try to pick up some momentum as you look ahead to the postseason for every team.
All right, let's find our way out to the unified game. Grand Rapids Christian the ball. Isaac Muller took to the rack, can't score, gets the feedback onto him from Hope Alvesteffer. One more look from Muller, and he hits it. Brings Grand Rapids Christian within 8 here. Bulldogs gonna get it rolling. See Carson Smith, Grandville senior quarterback, out there right now. CT and I have spent time scouting to see if he could maybe join the basketball team on the second half of the season coming up here. And the wing with it working right now for the Bulldogs off that pass was Jacob Busby. Mid-range Jay. Off the mark in the lane. It'll be chased down and going back the other way with Alex Williams, who lobs it on ahead to Muller, who gets the finish. GR Christian, oh, you didn't see it. GR Christian puts themselves within 6. Good finish from Muller. And we've got the substitution break coming out. Coaches for this game, Tim Muller is the head coach for Grand Rapids Christian. Steve Slotsema, Kaylee Enders and Ella Walters are helping him out, and then of course the head, Eric Stiegel is out there. See him working the sideline with many of the same gestures and looks that we see him have in the fall. Home rebound to Gillespie, and he'll get the finish. Shot from the block, by the way, came from Sam Thelen. So of course the whole point of the unified games, we're kind of new to this. We've had a couple games here over the past couple seasons, but it isn't just like straight Special Olympics in terms of full-on competition with all special needs competitors. There is an element that you see it's unified because you have other students that are there as the partners, the helpers. One of those guys right here, Braden LaCroix, Grandville tight end, with it up the far side of the floor here for the Bulldogs to help run the offense. He'll give it to Thelen. Mid-range baseline Jake will not go. Gillespie had the chase for the rebound, but able to lock that one down was Danny Barton, one of the partners for Grand Rapids Christian. 90 seconds left in this. Girls game, Grandville and West Ottawa will start us off 6 o'clock on our coverage here. Unique Scout Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Nate Dreyer, CT, are with you here today. We've got the unified game. The Grand Rapids Christian traveling in. Left-hand shot there from Faith Kelly, no good. From the free throw line, unable to get that one to rattle home, was Max Damstra. Braden LaCroix on the run out. I thought he was maybe going to dunk it. That would have been fun to see. And that one unable to hit the mid-range shot on the back end of the final minute here of the unified contest. Always one of my favorite, and especially today was fun, Chandler, because it was here obviously before game started, before we went on air, so just had a chance to kind of sit in the stands next to our broadcast position here as I was watching it. It's about as much fun as you can have in the gym. Also, when they've put these games in the middle of other games, it's the loudest the gym gets. Like even like on that Grand Haven night when Grandville and Grand Haven played like the game of the year, I think it was loudest for the player introductions of this thing.
I think that's definitely possible. It get some big cheers as some of these players able to get out there and make some shots and get some very cool moments. I think
for the Bulldogs, unable to hit. Max Damstra with 3 seconds and the clock running down. Has it blocked, and that'll do it. 30-22. Grandville beats Grand Rapids Christian in the unified game to start off our day here at Vanderslice Gymnasium on Michigan Game Night and the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. All right, CT, so the girls' game first, West Ottawa, Grandville. Storylines out there. Of course, the Grandville side for Coach Carpwoods, they failed to win the first half through the OK Red season. They played some really tight games in the midst of that, though, and West Ottawa, they have that 8-0, 9-0 start. They struggle through the OK Red. Gabby Reynolds, maybe the best player in the area in terms of in girls basketball, but despite that, and she's scoring 30, 35, 40 points per game a lot of these nights. They've had some struggles trying to find the other points to it. So a real momentum night. We'll talk about it when it means on the boys' side, but on the girls' side, first off, with two teams each trying to jockey themselves before a district push. They'll be in the same district. An important night just for that, to kind of set your season, try to get your bearings back. Grandville won the girls on Tuesday, traveling down to Matawan, so a chance to continue momentum. A big night in that regard. Yeah,
I think for the girls Bulldogs team, I think you've seen how well they've played in the non-conference. They've been able to win quite a few ball games there, just have struggled in conference. So I think just trying to carry over some of that momentum, the confidence that you're able to build up. You're catching a West Ottawa team that's struggling. Of course, you know the talent, the elite talent there, and when they were playing at their best, racking up wins themselves, but you kind of catch them at a pretty good time. You get them on your home floor and a chance.
On the Bates Agency pregame show, we're going to step aside, and when we come back, we got a lot more to get to still here from Grandville. Bulldogs win the unified game. See the picture at center court now to wrap up the beginning of the festivities for the day, but a lot, obviously, still to come up here from Grandville. Teacher Appreciation Night as well, so a lot of special things on deck all night long here at Vanderslice Gymnasium, and Grandville will be right back.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Hi everyone, Nate from MGN. Hopefully everyone is enjoying today's presentation of Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. We are incredibly proud of the last few seasons of MGN and the coverage and broadcast editions that we've been able to bring, including adding in-house produced video coverage this winter. We also are very, very excited for the future and have some big plans on how to expand and improve further upon our video, podcast, and radio coverage. We are incredibly thankful to Grandville and the Michigan high school sports community for their support as we've seen our audience continue to grow like wildfire, seeing upwards of 8,000 to 10,000 people in total tuning in for some of our largest Friday night and playoff coverage games. We're also, of course, thankful to the Grandville Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities for their great long-time presenting sponsorship of MGN. Because of them, all these great additions that we've been able to make over the last few years and all these plans we have going forward have been able to happen. Of course, also, we have to thank the community that is tuned in, and because of all that, going forward, along with our other due diligence looking on ahead, we can even reach out to you, the listener here today, if you, your company, or somewhere you know may have interest in partnering with even additional broadcasts within the MGN window that quite offer that sort of benefit for your company, and through customizable presenting sponsorship plans that are for the 2023-2024 school year. We'll even be able to throw in this winter onto these affordable plans. I think there's a unique customizable deal that could be met to help best find the needs of your company. Meet them to MGN. We are so excited about what's coming. We're thankful to the community that's been able to support us over the last few years, and we're really, really ready to see what's next. And hopefully, along with the great support from the Bates Agency and Centennial Securities, we also are going to be able to march forward with even more great things going forward. We've added video coverage, and now I think it's time to add on even more to our video, radio, and podcast coverage going forward. So, thanks again, everyone, for their support. And make sure if you do have interest to reach out through MichiganGameNight.com. You can find an entire contact page right there, in particular through email, miGameNight@gmail.com. There's phone numbers and more also listed that you can reach out to myself through on the Michigan Game Night website. Thanks again, everyone. Now let's get back to the game. Thanks, Nate. Welcome back to the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you, continuing to work towards the start of this one. Grandville, West Ottawa tonight on the girls' side. First, as we open things up here from Vanderslice Gymnasium, warm-ups underway for both of the two squads. Let's take a look at this Panthers team under long-time respected West Michigan head coach Paul Chapman, both the girls and the boys' side. You know, again, they started after that Grandville win. They're up to a 9-0 start, but they're under 500. And the OK Red, this is a team that really needs that second half rally before a tough district. Now, it's a district that I think they feel they can win, they can compete in. They went to the district championship a year ago, but they're going to need quite the rally. They need to start putting some pieces together. They lost in overtime. You know, they've lost some tough overtime games down the stretch of the year. They've played some tight games against teams like Hudsonville. They've also had games where they weren't so tight against teams like Rockford. So I think that's kind of the point that they're in right now.
Yeah, I think you can survive, a couple games like that, and that's not going to ruin a season by any means. But when you have a lot of games like that, now the further you get along in the season, as we're into the second half here tonight through the conference, I think that's going to start to make a bit of a difference when you start to try to figure out what this team is, what they're going to be moving forward. Kind of need to start pulling some of those wins out in order to feel really good about where you're going to be at come the postseason.
For the Grandville Bulldogs and head coach Lindsey Karpowitz, they come into this game now 7-8 on the year, win 58-31, a good one on the road at Matawan on Tuesday in the game in the middle of the season stretch. So the Bulldogs warming up right now. Winless in the first stretch of the OK Red, but a little bit of their style and what they want to be. I think all of those points right now pointing towards this team having a little bit of a second half rally that could start tonight, and this would be kind of a statement to be a team that has a player like Gabby Reynolds who can do some of the things West Ottawa can do.
Yeah, I think a similar storyline to what West Ottawa is facing, just the struggles a little bit longer for the Bulldogs than what the first half through the conference schedule looked like. But I think the storyline is kind of the same as to what they're looking to do. I think you played some close games the first time around, some games that you think you're going to have a chance in as you face some of those teams again. And so trying to fix some of those things, and now you're getting more comfortable as a team, kind of figuring out your style a little bit more. And allowing to play a little bit more freely as a team. I think you start to put some of those wins together, and even though first place in the conference not likely, not going to happen, but you can still play some competitive games, beat some really good teams as you go through the regular season and feel pretty good.
Yeah, back to West Ottawa and back to I think what's always going to be a very front of mind talking point of this team. Gabby Reynolds, I mean, a player that's got Michigan and I think Northwestern, just Big Ten, D1, top-level offers, and it's because this 5'9" junior guard is quite impressive. An all-state guard already last year as a sophomore, and a player that's been putting up 25, 30, 35 points every single game. You look a couple games back for them, or the lost actually last time against Grand Haven. She had 32 points. And that what Reynolds is. There is no team, girls or boys side, I think, in Michigan, West Michigan, that quite has one player that dictates the conversation as much as Gabby Reynolds does for West Ottawa.
They truly do run through her. I mean, she's going to be shooting the basketball a lot when she's making shots. The offense is looking good. The team's rolling. If she's not making shots, other teams are shutting her down. That's when they're going to have their struggles. And for good or for better or worse, is kind of what it's going to be. Is when you've got an elite talent like that, you're going to let them play their game, and hopefully the team follows along.
The question then for West Ottawa is what comes in after Reynolds in terms of what this offense brings to the table. Chelsea Overbeek, Brooke Pedersen, I think were probably the two that at the start of the year jumped off the page as the kind of scoring wings or forwards that they have, and they've had moments where they have stepped up and they've had big scoring performances. They've won games like that. Magali Lemus, the big senior post, I mean, she of course also brings that sort of different element to the game. The question all year has been, where is that secondary scoring coming from? In particular, I think they're looking to the perimeter for a lot of that scoring to become a little bit more consistent this second half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got an elite scorer like that, you always, no matter who it is, you need supporting players. You need other players to help out in the box score in order to make things run a little bit better. And so, yeah, you think the Panthers still kind of looking for those second and third options, somebody that can take some of the stress off from Reynolds and what she's going to have to do night in and night out. They've got some players that, as you said, have got potential, just looking to try to find that a little bit more consistently.
For the Bulldogs, we looked at Coach Karpowitz's side of things, Chandler, and I think a big talking point the last few games of them has been their pace and style. And what is it? Because they've been able to play at multiple paces, multiple styles, but I think they've been at their best where, yes, they are okay settling the game down and grinding, but you go back to that Grand Haven game where they gave one of the best teams in the area, Grand Haven, a run for their money throughout the stretch run of that game. I think it was when they kind of upped the pace a little bit, upped the pressure, got some steals, got some transition baskets, that they were at their best. They're comfortable. If it's a close game, they're fine grinding, and they certainly can play a strong style in that regard. But this team is going to be at their best when they're pushing the pace and they're getting steals and they're getting easy baskets along with some of those half-court sets.
Yeah, I think you look at some of the players in the starting five for the Bulldogs and on this roster, you look at players like McKellar and Rakowski who are good ball handlers, can be aggressive, can win going to the rim and trying to be aggressive in that sense. I think you start to see a team that, is going to thrive a little bit when they're pushing the pace a little bit, able to beat teams and try to get out and run against them. I think in the past you've seen some very experienced teams in the conference, teams that have been state title contenders, and that's made it difficult for the Bulldogs to really rely on that when you've got teams like that are also doing the same thing but just have that experience, maybe a little bit more speed. So now that you've got that a little bit, you can use that to your advantage. Now that you've got some of those experienced players on your team that are now juniors and seniors, and try to utilize that in a matchup for your advantage.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with that. I think the general concept behind where this Bulldogs team has been building is around that youth, turning into experience. And, West Ottawa has some similar factions in terms of a younger team a year ago that are trying to find things that they do. Players like Hybor, Gregor, DeVries off the bench. The Bulldogs have definitely shown ability to work well in the post, and that's going to be a battle to watch.
Yeah, when the Bulldogs have been forced into the half court or have slowed things down willingly into the half court, they do have some players that they can feed the basketball to and try to win down low as well. You've got Hybor, who's done a tremendous job when she's had the opportunity to touch the ball in the paint. Also does a good job cleaning up the glass, getting some second chance points and opportunities there. And so now a pretty good matchup building between these two teams when you've got a player like Lemus for the Panthers and a player like Hybor for the Bulldogs going head-to-head.
Yeah, have to, of course, agree on that. All right, Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agents pregame show rolls on. We'll be right back here from Grandville.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Rather than just always relying on one player.
Yeah, Scott Bates Agency pregame show continues here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. CT, I think the next thing that you have to mention most notably in this contest is break me every time still. Every single time that happens, it gets me. The winners still go to the Heartland student section last year at the Breslin Center. Those guys win every time. Season, and we'll wrap up our broadcast with the Heinz Orthodontics smile of the game.
Yeah. Drive. I'm Chandler too.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave this in.
All right.
This is staying in the show. He is Chandler Timmer. I am Nate Dreyer. This is what happens when you work together for 6 years. The names are one.
We're just one, yeah.
Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Michigan game night, tailgate report. We clearly have to stop talking. I do at least. I will see you all. I see you too. Friday night, Grandville, Wyoming. I think 6:30. We're on the air for that. Goodbye.
And Cam Regnerus has scoring report for the Panthers. 4 points thrown at that point guard position. Tough backcourt in general. Getting to some of those other pieces that we have out there. After 3 years, it finally almost came down on me. Good catch. I don't know what kid caught that, but that was a good catch. But regardless, a tough back. All right, welcome back. Nate and Chandler with you here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Grandville West, Ottawa girls opening up the night here on our video coverage here through MGN. But a quick look ahead as well. Keep in mind, tomorrow we are on the air again with radio coverage from Aquinas and the Showcase. We have two premier matchups at the 2K23 Showcase again. We were there a week ago with all 4 games. We will have 2 of them tomorrow, and they are 2 really, really darn good games I'm looking forward to. First off, Northview and Warren Lincoln. Warren Lincoln, a highly talented team with a couple of really good young players on that team. Of course, everyone knows what Northview brings to the table with the Ryans and the Swartzes and the Jeffersons and everyone else, the Tyron Thomases and the top to bottom in that lineup, and a team that truly is on the march for a state championship this year. I don't think anyone would question that. And the second game is the game of the day, Muskegon and North Farmington. Regardless what you look at for your rankings of choice, these teams are both in the top 5 in the state in Division I. Loaded with talent. You look at Muskegon as a team, they're scoring nearly 70 points per game. They're giving up like less than 45, around 45 as a team. North Farmington loaded with talent. Mr. Basketball contenders on both sides, in particular Ryan Hurst at North Farmington is one of the outright leaders for that award right now. Muskegon is loaded this year. This is as good of a chance as ever that Coach Keith Guy's going to have to go all the way. And by the way, the 2 teams on the left right there, Northview and Muskegon, they will be playing in the same region. That region is at West Ottawa. I think the plan will probably be for myself and Chandler to be there with Michigan Game Night on the coverage, and that could be the regional of the year. But certainly CT, loved it last week at the showcase, and I'm sure you can speak to it as well. Looking forward to these two tomorrow.
Yeah, always good to see some of these matchups get, especially when you got some top teams in the state like this. I think last week saw some really good teams there, and not going quite as crazy as we did last week, just 2 games this week. But I think when you're looking at the talent that they've got, I think, really cool too when you've got the teams from the west side there that could potentially match up later. Got to see Northview a little bit already throughout the course of the season. You know they're for real, and some of the stats you listed for Muskegon, I think kind of tells the whole story. You've seen some of the teams that they've beaten and the scores they've beaten them by, so really excited to see them in person for the first time.
So here you are sitting telling everyone that we're not going as crazy as last week when we did 4, and we were both there for 4 the whole time, and that's what you're going to complain about. I did 6 alone last year on at least one occasion because you left me hanging for that day, and you know I couldn't talk for 2 weeks after.
That's just it.
So I need you to not complain about the 4 because we can do far worse. We have done far worse. We will do far worse, but it is going to be a great day. Certainly tune in. We're on the air at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Michigan Sports Radio also have the last game of the day, which is Grand Rapids Catholic Central and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Very good one there as well. Eric Wells, Joe Lavoie will have the coverage on MSR for that one. West Ottawa and Grandville about 3 minutes away from tipping off this one. Let's get into some keys to the game. Chandler, let's start with the Bulldogs, and I think it starts pretty simply. I think they have to find the pace that they want to play at, and you can't shut down Gabby Reynolds, but if you can find a way to throw her off her game a little bit and to change the rhythm that she controls that offense at and get the ball out of her hands, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, it sure does. When you take a player like that we already talked about how much she means to this team, how much they rely on her, she's going to be shooting the basketball a lot if things are going well for the Panthers. So you look at who can try to defend her and take her off her game. I think you're looking at both Gracie Rakowski and Olivia McKellar's potentially drawing that matchup and trying to limit what the impact she has on the game, forcing some of the other Panthers to try and beat you and see where that takes you.
And I think for West Ottawa, of course, you have to keep Reynolds into the game as much as possible. But what is West Ottawa looking at doing in terms of trying to slow down this Grandville attack? Because it's a Bulldog attack that, it is scoring less than 50 points per game on the year, but they have had moments where we've really seen this Grandville girls side get into it offensively, the great guard play, the great post play they have as well. An interesting team to try to defend the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they are. I think you have to limit when they're able to do which one-on-one and dribble and attack the basket. I think if you force them into some longer possessions offensively where they've got to create and have some motion to create some open looks, I think that's where the Bulldogs are still looking to improve on and try to work together to get that team flow as an offense, get all 5 players involved touching the basketball and being effective.
Yes, all right. This is going to be an interesting game for, as we said, a lot of reasons. And I think we have to kind of learn what the pace is. Of course, we saw when these two teams have already played on the year how tight of a contest that they played in that one, especially for the first half. The Bulldogs led at the half, and at that time, this was an unbeaten West Ottawa team, but both teams very hungry. West Ottawa 3-4 the first time through the red, now 11-4 overall on the season, and the Bulldogs, as we know, winless the first time through the red, but I don't think that record certainly at all tells the full story. All right, let's step out of here from the National Anthem. That'll do it for the Bates Agents pregame show. We got basketball on the other side of this.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, Let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
At Vanderslice Gymnasium. Let's take a look at your starting lineups here tonight as we get this thing underway. First, West Ottawa, under the direction of head coach Paul Chapman, will start their sophomore guard, Addie Skolton. Along in the backcourt, they'll have the junior guard, Gabby Reynolds. The senior guard, Brooke Pedersen, gets a start. And up front, they'll have the junior forward, Chelsea Overbeek, and the senior center, Magali Lemus, gets the start the sophomore center, Magali Lemus, gets the start for the Panthers of West Ottawa. For the Bulldogs, and head coach Lindsay Carput, same lineup we've seen pretty much all year long for the Dogs. 5'5" junior guard Gracie Rakowski gets the start in the backcourt alongside the 5'6" senior guard Olivia McKellar, and the fellow senior guard Anaya Fisher draws into the starting lineup. Up front, the Bulldogs have the junior 5'9" wing Tessa Gregoire, and the senior center Sydney Hybor draws into the Bulldogs starting five this evening. Home whites for Grandville, traveling blacks for the Panthers. All right, CT, we are about ready to get this one underway. Important, as always, first quarter to set the tone a little bit. Now, it was the second half when West Ottawa pulled away last time, but I think for both these teams, a little bit symbolic for both the game and the second half of the season, getting a good jump on it.
Yeah, when you've got two teams that are both trying to turn things around and kind of reverse course from their last couple games, it's important to start off quick and get off to a good start, because you don't want things to snowball. If you've had a couple bad games, you're still kind of fighting it, and then all of a sudden you're struggling out in the first quarter. Things can get out of hand pretty quickly. Nothing that either team couldn't bounce back from. Definitely the path a lot easier if you're right away able to get things rolling, feeling a little bit better coming off some losses, and try to get off to a good start for a potential win.
All right, Lame is the jump on high board to start off our evening here from Vanderslice Gymnasium. Second half of the OK Red season is underway, and the Panthers and Reynolds have it to start the count right away.
Yeah, no hesitation. Immediately gets the ball off the jump, pulls up in the mid-range game, and hits it. That's going to be a shot she's comfortable with. If the Bulldogs give her that much space right away in a possession, she's going to take it.
McKellar shifting to the corner for Gregoire. She'll try a three to put the Bulldogs up early. Can't get the touch, and the rebound down to Lemus, and West Ottawa will take it one more time. And again, it's Gabby Reynolds, and we talked about Reynolds last year. She steps back into a three already, an all-state player with tons of D1 offers on the table already, and that fight for the ball out of bounds will go the Bulldogs' way. One correction, by the way, to the starting lineup. It's Gomez drawing into the starting five, not Skolton tonight for Coach Chapman. So a bit of a late change on that. Handoff, McKellar swings to Fisher. 2-0 early the West Ottawa lead. First minute nearly gone. Driving McKellar. Feeds for Gregoire, lobbing for Hybor. Lemus the defense on her, turns, and Lemus the block, and West Ottawa takes the possession back over one more time with Gabby Reynolds, who, again, I mean, if she forces up 25 shots tonight, do not be surprised to see that. That's how they like to run their offense. Stutter step on to Brooke Pedersen, slashing, unable to score, and the Panthers will keep it on the touch out from Gregoire. All right, 6:44 to go in the first. Panthers keep it down low, and a game in a little bit more of the half-court style early. Reynolds corner, handoff. Pedersen triple off the mark, the rebound to Gregoire, and the Bulldogs to take. Lob down the floor in to the arms and eventually settled by Reynolds, and the Panthers will restart one more time as the Bulldogs look to push the pace a little bit right there, Chandler.
I think something that they want to do is push the pace, but that pass not in a good spot.
Reynolds does it herself, driving to the block and able to climb the ladder and score. And just like that, 4-0. All the work coming early offensively from Gabby Reynolds in this one, nearly 2 minutes in. Gregoire feeds the paint to Hybor. Quick kick to Gracie Rakowski around the screen. Pull-up shot is deflected out of there by Reynolds. Pedersen the board. Pedersen on the floor, stolen by McKellar on the reach, and Olivia McKellar will reset the offense one more time right here. Both teams kind of manning it up early in the half court defensively, but we know they can go to different looks. The run at Gregoire, who's able to knock down the three, and Tessa Gregoire puts the Bulldogs on the board, 4-3 game.
Extra from the left corner. Good look, couldn't get it to go. This time at the right side, knocks it down.
Up top, Reynolds unable to get that one to go. Rebound put on here to Misher. And I have Fisher finding Hybor, but it slips away from her grasp, and the tie-up will keep it with the Bulldogs as Lamus got tied up with Hybor. 5-11 in the first. DeVries will check in here for Hybor. No fouls early on, nearly 3 minutes into this one, 4-3 game. And I think both teams are kind of okay with where it's being played. It's a little sloppy, a little out of control for moments, but I think for the most part, that drive from Overbeek, rebound Lamus, and a putback is good. Golly, Lamus, the sophomore, able to sky
points.
Rakowski for DeVries. Drive, slashing off the mark, McKellar, and the Panthers back the other way with it.
Pretty good job by McKellar just to beat her defender there, but Lamus still lurking in the lane.
Reynolds went to that mid-range step back, one of the definite moves that she likes to go to often. The Bulldogs push the pace from Fisher on ahead to McKellar. Driving, leaner, good. Good touch in the lane from Olivia McKellar. Brings the Bulldogs back within one.
Previous possession where she ran into some trouble in the lane, this time going more to the left side. McKellar able to create enough of a lane for herself to get that short shot in.
Pedersen drives, blocked to Rakowski, regathers, and Pedersen will work it to Gomez. Bulldogs in the half-court man defense to open this one. Reynolds drives, and off the bounce, cannot convert. Greg with the rebound. The Bulldogs did a good job, especially in the first half, slowing down Reynolds in the first time they played. That's part of why the Bulldogs led at the break. As West Ottawa, regardless whether Reynolds is fighting or not, will force the offense oftentimes through her, and she always seems to find a way to find her shot by the end of the contest. Rakowski pull up for the lead off the mark, but the board down to Fisher. She'll drive, blocked by Lamus.
Trying to work.
McKellar, I like what the Bulldogs are doing right now in terms of kind of no middling Reynolds. Whenever she tries to drive and she wants to try to score off the bounce, you're seeing the ball kind of poked away from her quite often. Now as Gregoire will go to the bench. Corner for Reynolds. Coach Chapman typically does not go overly deep into his bench whatsoever for the Panthers. Pedersen for Gomez. Skip for Lamus, stolen by Hybor on the force feed. Reverse layup, Rakowski, no, bats it out nicely. Up top, McKellar, triple try for the lead, got it. 5 from McKellar early, and the Bulldogs have their first lead, 8-6.
Rakowski trying to drive along the baseline, got caught a little bit too much underneath the rim, but the Bulldogs able to bat it out, fortunately right to McKellar for an open three.
Reynolds pull up into some space, no, Lamus the board, but Fisher got her hand in there and steals it away once again, and the Bulldogs will go for a run on to Rakowski. 2:14 in the first. Rakowski drives, floater strong, rebound Pedersen. Here's Reynolds. Gomez, mid-range with a late arriving Hybor rattles out. The Bulldogs keep the lead out of it.
Bulldogs doing a good job of shutting down the dribble of Reynolds, making sure she's not the one bringing it all the way up the floor and immediately going into a drive, forcing the ball to stop.
3 for Rakowski off the mark, and McKellar just unable to save that one, so West Ottawa takes over again. Allison Dowlett, the junior guard, will check in for Rakowski right here for Coach Karpowitz. 1:46 in the first, and Reynolds gets ready to run the offense again for West Ottawa. Again, both these teams, Chandler, have been man-oriented defensively. They've been half-court oriented both offensively and defensively. Panthers bring Samantha O'Connor with the ball here on to run the offense. Their first substitution. Handoff here on the weave to Reynolds. Gabby Reynolds crashing into the lane and got the roll.
Reynolds just able to keep her feet and a tough bounce in.
Reynolds about as good in terms of girls basketball players. I think in the last few years we've covered scoring off the bounce. It's what she's able to do so well. I mean, the step back move she has as well. And on the floor we have our first foul of the contest, as they will get O'Connor on the push there. We're knotted at 8 with 1:02 remaining in the first. Gregor comes back in for the Bulldogs. Addie Skolton, now the sophomore, comes in for West Ottawa. Bulldogs will also late bring Emma Perez on the floor here for High Boys. The Bulldogs go a little bit smaller right now with their lineup. They had the two big lineup a moment ago. Now they go no bigs out there with Gregor, the tallest Bulldog threat. Off the shot that's tipped out, the Bulldogs keep it there. McKellar from the corner has that deflected away. Dowlett fires for Gregor through Lamus. Turnaround from Dowlett, blocked and back the other way with Pedersen and the Panthers on the run. 51 seconds. Skolton back for Pedersen. Pedersen drives, floater, got it in West Ottawa. Takes the lead back with the first non-Gabby Reynolds basket of the game.
It's more what the Panthers do in a possession where Reynolds does not touch the basketball, getting Pedersen able to put it on the floor, get a tough float shot.
Gregor going to work the post. The hook will not go. The rebound tap to the point, and it'll go back the other way. O'Connor running the break for the Panthers to the rack. Reverse no. Put back Reynolds. Also can't get the friendly touch with 16. They keep the possession alive. Gabby Reynolds steps into a three over top of Fisher. That one's strong and off the mark. Rebound to Perez and the Bulldogs to run with 7. Perez for Anaya Fisher with 3. Fisher looking for Perez, and that'll do it for the first. West Ottawa by just 2 after the first frame of playing a tight one right here. We're going to step aside and be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
This one has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being
a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of
All right, welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate and Chandler with you. First quarter gone in this one. 10-8, West Ottawa leads. In the girls' game to open things up here at Vanderslice Gymnasium. And out of the break, the Panthers and Gabby Reynolds will get ready to inbound once more. Pedersen will run it, defended by Rakowski, who off her rest is back in there. Passes out of the reach of the junior guard O'Connor, and the Bulldogs take back over off the good pressure there from Gracie Rakowski.
Bulldogs not able to get out and run and push the pace as much as we thought they might want to in the first quarter, but did a pretty good job keeping things under control, staying right within a couple points of the Panthers throughout the first quarter.
Rakowski unable to corral that one, and the Panthers now push it the other way. Reynolds sizing up and driving and kicking now. Pedersen, mid-range pull-up, but a foul from behind on McKellar, and it will send Pedersen to the line to shoot a couple right here. Good work again defensively there from Rakowski, I think, to be able to stay on it and kind of cut off the drive of Reynolds. The first one goes for Pedersen. She now has 3 to go along with the big scoring night from Reynolds. That one rattles home, got them both. McKellar kicks for Fisher. Fisher drives, bumping into the double team, and Anaya Fisher is fouled. Looks like they'll get the call on the floor. 7-12 in the second, 12-8. Fisher jumps wing, catch and shoot 3. Rakowski down the hatch and good. Gracie Rakowski knocks that one down. It'll go back the other way.
Bulldogs shooting the 3-ball effectively early on. Rakowski with a 3 now. Gregor with one earlier. McKellar as well.
So the Bulldogs within 1. Another errant pass will give him possession.
Basketball out of Reynolds' hands initially. That's when the Bulldogs defense can really try to lock down, and they can force some of those bad passes.
Corner 3. Gregor down the hatch and good. Another 3 for the Bulldogs. Back-to-back possessions, and they go on top 14-12. Gregor now with 6.
And that one with a hand right in her face from the corner. First 3 she hit was pretty open. That time the defender there, Gregor saw it and still hit it.
Reynolds' 3 is strong, and a rebound down to Rakowski continuously. The storyline about the Bulldog defense, when Reynolds has shot, then step back, tough, deep 3s, contested shots in the lane. Rakowski tries a step back of her own that's off the mark, and Reynolds the board. We'll see if the Bulldogs can defend up this possession again on Gabby Reynolds and company. Reynolds to tie. Unable to shake that one home. Reynolds dump pass to Gomez. Swung nearly out of the reach of Skolton again to the Bulldog bench. Reynolds drives on Gregor, floater to tie, got it.
Those are the opportunities the Bulldogs have been trying to limit throughout the course of the game. When Reynolds turns the corner on the drive and then instead has to pull up from the mid-range, the Bulldogs will take that. They're doing their job cutting off that driving lane. That time, though, defense on their heels a little bit, and Reynolds able to get into the paint.
Perez fouled on the drive to the basket. That'll be the 3rd team foul on West Ottawa, and that is the first foul on Heidi Gomez. Highbor will check in for Perez. The Bulldogs go with a little bit more size. Also see Chelsea Overbeek, the junior, come back in after a rest for Coach Chapman and West Ottawa. Rakowski to throw in. Gets it down low to Fisher, but a whistle and a grab again on Gomez down low. We foul 4 on the Panthers with 5:09 in the second.
Fisher working on the inbound pass, had the smaller defender on her, able to get great positioning right underneath the basket. Would have been an easy lay-in, but the foul called on the floor before the basket.
So Gomez will take a seat off of that, and right away back into the game comes Skolton after the brief rest. McKellar for a curling Rakowski. Reynolds switches on to her defensively inside 5 minutes in the second. Drive from Rakowski, unable to score on the flick up, and it's deflected out by Reynolds and stays with the Bulldogs. 4:54 in the second. All knotted at 14 here. Nice inbound steal from Chelsea Overbeek, and Reynolds to run the offense on the break. Reynolds stops top of the key, turns around into a floater and hits.
Crafty move from Reynolds. A little hesitation with the dribble to make it look like she was going to pull the basketball back out, let the offense set up. Then as soon as the defense laxes just a little bit, then able to attack.
Now double-digit scoring with 10 for Reynolds, who comes away with another steal right here. Despite the loss, she had 5 steals, 32 points against Grand Haven, looking for points 11 and 12 of the game, and she gets them. 12 now for Gabby Reynolds, and a 2-score lead for West Ottawa.
Reynolds immediately recognizing the defense not set up, not prepared to stop ball. She's going to go immediately.
McKellar for Fisher, foul. On the grab from Pedersen, that's foul 5 on West Ottawa. 4:08 in the second. First foul on Brooke Pedersen, by the way, as that is going to bring Dowlett back on the floor as Fisher will take a seat. Dowlett to throw in, the junior guard finding Gregor down low, poked but regathered. Gregor having to work on Lamus and unable to score over top of the skying defender. Foul on the fight for the ball, goes West Ottawa's way. Not too many fouls to open up, but things slowing down a little bit more in that regard right now, as the Bulldogs are also going to bring some full court pressure here. So looking to maybe up the pace of the game, like we discussed, create a little bit of chaos, now trailing by a couple scores. Pedersen able to beat it. Swing to Reynolds. Reynolds pull up free throw line, can't get the rattle. Lamus, the putback, no. And the Bulldogs will race, or we're going to race with Dowlett. Now we'll settle it down here with the pressure coming from Reynolds. Both teams maybe thinking a little bit more full court right now defensively. Foul on Reynolds on the grab. 6 of the Bulldogs after this shooting free throws the rest of the half. 3:38 in the second quarter, 18-14.
Keller able to beat the pressure from Reynolds just by herself there. Reynolds trying to stick with her force. Mishap dribbling down the court, and Keller able to keep her composure.
Dowlett feeds it through the arms of Rakowski. West Ottawa takes it back over. Pretty quick moving start to this one here. Already past the halfway point of the second frame. And it'll be Reynolds to run the offense. She has 12 early on to lead all scorers, and now has 14. Again, off the bounce, Gabby Reynolds. It's a really, really unique talent that she has.
If she can get any sort of momentum and speed going towards the basket, she's going to get a shot up, and it's probably going to be a good opportunity.
Rakowski unable to answer, and Hybor unable to get the putback, but McKellar collects for the third opportunity, strong. And out of that scrum, Reynolds will be the one to take it. Bulldogs with their chances there. Now will pressure Pedersen in the full court. Floater in the lane. Can't get the friendly touch. Gregor settles it down, and a timeout from Coach Garpo. It's 2:50 in the second. 20-14 Grandville leads. We'll be right back.
Real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit foldingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Apologies tonight if you're having any kind of slight issues with the stream in terms of dropping and different audio things, whatever. We're having a little bit of kind of out of the blue internet issues here that we haven't quite had the last few weeks. Obviously, been tuning in, have not had those issues here even since the video started. So we've turned down the quality from where we wanted a little bit on the stream to try to help with that a little bit right here. And West Ottawa brings out a 1-3-1 half-court trap out of the break. Gregor passes deflected by Pedersen, and the Panthers momentarily and now fully, after that turnover, get a steal out of it. But this 1-3-1 trap has been something that is a very big part of what they like to run offensively, and we've seen the
defensively. Offense had dried up a little bit, trying to come up with something, and immediately the Panthers also switching up the defense, going to the trap, and giving the Bulldogs some issues.
Reynolds around the Lamus screen, steps back into one that she's unable to knock down. Bulldogs race to the rebound, and McKellar will take it out of there. Pushed down to Rakowski. Rakowski steps into the triple. Cannot hit. McKellar chases it down. 2:10 in the second. Dowlett force feeds Hybor, driving off the bottom of the rim, no. Facing up one more time on Lamus, and that will send Hybor to the line for a couple here for the Bulldogs. Hybor not on the score sheet so far, so a chance to do that at the stripe right here with 2:03 in the first. That's foul one on Lamus, and that is the Bulldogs now into the bonus.
Matchups we talked about in the pregame, Hybor and Lamus going at it. They've been battling a little bit back and forth. Lamus able to block a couple shots from Hybor. Hybor doing some work on the defensive end as well, getting some stops and some rebounds. Now Highbar chance to get on the board, though. She gets herself to the free throw line through some contact.
Official check in here for Dowlett. Highbar able to get the touch on that. Bulldogs pull back within 5. Here is Gabby Reynolds. 14 for Reynolds in the first halves. Dumps one to Lamus. Knocked away, and Rakowski to take it out of there. Rakowski break with numbers. Handoff. Highbar scores. Bulldogs steal into offense in the full court like we just talked about there within 3.
There's the transition offense, getting out and running. Rakowski bringing the ball up at the last second, able to dish it off to her teammate in Highbar for the easy 2.
Trapping 2-3 zone is out right here that we have seen Coach Karpwitz utilize often, and it forces a steal. And Coach Chapman, not happy, will call a timeout of his own. 1.5 to go in the second. 20-17, the Panther lead.
Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back. Nate Chandler with you. Final 1:25 of the first half. The Bulldogs brought a 2-3 trapping zone, and the Panthers back out in the 1-3-1. And out of it, there's a steal, settle down for Reynolds. So both teams have decided time to start trapping, maybe time to up the pace of the game. Mid-range, down the hatch for Chelsea Overbeek. And the Panthers up it to 22-17, the lead at 5 again.
Bulldogs choosing to send the double team as soon as Reynolds looks like she's going to drive, but able to kick it out to Overbeek for the open mid-range.
Fisher lobs across and back up. Force feed to DeVries here against the trap. Stolen again by the Panthers. This was the game changer for West Ottawa, the first matchup when they went to the trap. Reynolds in the full court, no. And it's settled down here by Highbar. Final 38 seconds. Panthers lead by 5. Reynolds, some of that full court pressure on a chasing McKellar, and a foul on the reach on Overbeek will send the Bulldogs to the line. And I think the bulk of the halftime talking points in the Bulldog locker room, Chandler, are going to revolve around beating this 1-3-1 trap, because they have had some real issues whenever it's gotten half court, and they've been able to set up against it.
Yeah, late in the first half, you can see the Panthers calling the timeout, talk things over, but also to allow themselves to for sure set that up and try to get an extra possession. But one of the ways you saw McKellar just do it, she was going to relax, take a little bit of time, sees the 1-3-1, still trying to set up, and goes quickly.
Reynolds drives and is fouled after the missed free throw, and that will send Gabby Reynolds to the line to shoot a couple right here. Following McKellar is her second, third on the Bulldogs with 24. Oh, wait. It's actually going to be on the floor. Given into Reynolds, and now she'll go to the line. I swore the official behind the ball was signaling for 2, even it looked like a shot, but now it'll all be even, and on Highbar's second foul, it will send Reynolds to the line. Reynolds off the mark. Reynolds kind of struggling a bit tonight, even though she has those 14s part of her game. She, of course, is such a high-volume scorer in terms of both scoring and shooting to be able to get to the high volume, and she has got the range to be allowed to kind of shoot out of some struggles from time to time. She's got 15 now in the first half, and her team has a 23-17 lead. Bella M., senior guard, will check in here, and the Bulldogs will roll this one on up to Rakowski. to start the offense with 23. She'll face up against the 1-3-1 trap. Lobbed for Fisher. Trying to force feed DeVries. Across to Hybor. Can't get the two-hand touch. Rebound McKellar with 13. Fisher on the run out. All the way across that zone for Rakowski. Trapped, and it stays with the Bulldogs. But you can see the way that vice of the 1-3-1 just slowly engulfs the Bulldogs as they lob across and get trapped. Hybor with 2. Up top, McKellar launches at the horn. No. And it's halftime. 23-17 West Ottawa, the lead at the break. And we will turn it over to the Centennial Securities halftime show. Nate Chandler back with you. All right, 10 minutes to go over this one for each coaching staff, CT. And an interesting first half, to certainly say the least, for these two coaches in terms of what they were drawing up a little bit in this one. I don't know. It's an interesting half just from the standpoint of we saw a couple different looks, really a tale of two halves of the half. You had the half court side of things and you had the full court side of things. I think we see more of what the last 2 minutes looked like than what the first section did.
Yeah, I think both teams kind of working their way that direction. The first quarter, you saw a lot of slower, developing half-court style on both on the offensive end for both teams. And then I think you see both teams making the adjustment defensively. The Panthers going to their 1-3-1. The Bulldogs mixing up defense as well. And I think both of those teams trying to create a little bit more on the defensive end and get out and move a little bit.
All right, we're going to step aside, be right back here in just a minute. West Ottawa leads Grandville 23-17 at the half of the girls' game. We'll be right back.
They had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches in state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
My car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
All right, welcome back here to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate and Chandler with you here as we move on to our Centennial Securities halftime show. Grandville trailing West Ottawa 23-17 at the break of the girls' game. CT, get us our scoring recap from the first two frames.
All right, for the Bulldogs, lead scorer Gregor with 6, McKellar with 5, Rakowski and Hybor each with 3 points. For the Panthers, leading scorer for both teams in the first half, Gabe Reynolds with 15. Then it was Pedersen with 4, and Overbeek and Lemus each with 2 points.
All right, so, there's your overlook, and, of course, it starts with Gabby Reynolds. We've seen her. The Bulldogs actually have done a pretty good job limiting her effectiveness, which I know is crazy to say, being that she has 15 points, but I think it's actually kind of true. She takes so much of the load offensively and so many of the shots that I think that's all part of it. But I think the Bulldogs did a pretty good job of limiting her effectiveness, or her efficiency at least, and that's part of why they're in a tight one that's a defensive battle at the half.
And I think in a high percentage of the minutes in the first half, they were doing what they wanted to and forcing her into either long shots in the mid-range or from beyond the arc, and more of a step-back style shots, not just open threes either. So I think you saw brief times in the game when she was able to get into the lane, a couple possessions where the defense maybe just a little bit late recognizing it, or late getting back and trying to stop the basketball when she's bringing it up the floor, and she's able to quickly get right underneath the basket into the lane, those short shots. That's where she's been able to take over and score most of her points, and that's where she's looking to do most of her damage. If the Bulldogs can force her to take shots further away from the basket, more contested in the mid-range or from beyond the arc, she's going to hit some of them. That's how the kind of talent she is, but that's where the Bulldogs need to keep Reynolds.
For the Bulldogs, it was the three-point shooting that was so critical to a lot of what they were doing in that first half, Chandler. You look at the end of the first quarter, they went on a little bit of a run. They were able to get back-to-back triples. The odd thing is, we talked earlier about how last couple of games it's been when the Bulldogs' offense has been flowing that they have maybe been a little bit more effective. Today it was a little bit more of the half-court sets that were maybe more efficient offensively. But the problem is, I think the half-court offense is done. West Ottawa's moved to their 1-3-1 trap, and I think it's now to a point where it's going to be chaos, it's going to be full court, it's going to be quick possessions to beat the trap. That's going to be exclusively what you're going to have to work with.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to adapt a little bit. I think you're still going to have some open looks if you're able to beat some of the 1-3-1 defense. You can find the weak spots of that. You're going to have some opportunities. It might be at a quicker tempo. It's going to have to be a quicker trigger on some of those shots, but I think you have to continue to try to find some of those shooters. Tessa Gregoire, a couple threes in the first half, big. I think continue to look for her to have a second half where maybe she gets some shots from the corners and continues to try to help this offense out.
Rakowski held pretty quiet, just 3 in that first half. Of course, her main focus today is a lot on that defensive matchup, I think, against Reynolds by large part. All right, we'll have a little bit more to get to as well here on the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Do not go anywhere.
The point is, the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times, or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
Hey, my car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
All right, welcome back. Nate and Chandler with you here. And that kind of wrapped up our Centennial Securities halftime show. Both teams back out from the locker rooms and both teams ready to go. West Ottawa leading Grandville 23-17 at the break. It's time to get the second half underway. I think, we can expect the pace of the second half to be upped a little bit from where the pace of the first half was. I think we can expect a little bit more of the defense to revolve around trapping and zone looks for both sides. The 1-3-1 for West Ottawa, the 2-3 trap for Coach Karpowitz and the Bulldogs. But we'll have to watch the start, see how any of it actually is going to ultimately play out right here. Gabby Reynolds, as you would expect, leads all scorers. She has 15 for West Ottawa. It's Gregor leading the way with 6 right now with the break for the Bulldogs, the pair of triples. Let's go with the second half. Same lineups that open the game will open the second half. Reynolds, Gomez, Pedersen, Overbeek, and Lamus for West Ottawa. And then Rakowski, McKellar, Fisher, Hybor, and Gregg were out there for the Bulldogs. Grandville gets the ball to start the second half of play. And away we go. Panthers will open up man-to-man half court defensively right here. We'll see how long that look may last as both teams try to get into a second half rhythm right here. Anaya Fisher, hands off for Rakowski. McKellar the up fake. McKellar, Rakowski again. The senior head fake, drives into the lane and is tripped and will go to the line. Saw Lamus kind of get knocked down off the ball, gave a bit of the lane, and McKellar able to work into the hole and get to the line on the trip. And that is foul number 2 foul 1 on Pedersen, and the first on the Panthers of the half.
McKellar using the head fake and the shot fake a couple times on that possession, really trying to get the Panthers to bite. So she had a room to drive down the lane, able to do so.
6 now for McKellar as she goes 1 of 2 and brings the Bulldogs within 23-18 here, just past the break. Bulldogs extending some pressure. On the wing, O'Connor for Reynolds. Corner, Pedersen able to fake around Rakowski, give to Reynolds, turning into the double team and going to the line for one more. 17 for Reynolds and a chance to add to it, so they look to 3, they find 3, and she has a chance for 3 at the line.
Initially, the Bulldogs able to cut off the dribble drive. Rakowski coming over, cutting off, but the Bulldogs, then you have to stick with Reynolds. You can't lose sight of her. She opens back up for an easy look.
Reynolds unable to complete the three-point play, but a nice effort spiking it up to keep possession. Pedersen 3 off the mark, and the board down to Fisher and the Bulldogs. They bring out the 1-3-1 trap here in the half court. McKellar faces it up, no look to Fisher, dump to Hybor. Here's Gregor, mid-range off the mark. Hybor unable to settle down the board as Reynolds takes it. Bulldogs had some looks, unable to convert on any. Drive from Reynolds and the floater is good. Reynolds quickly up to 19 on the contest, and the lead is now 9.
A lot of the same story. Reynolds just able to get too far down underneath the basket before the Bulldogs really need to cut that drive off. You need to try to get out and defend her as soon as possible. Try to at least make her go around you rather than having a straight path to the basket.
Such a difficult defense to beat when you've got a long, athletic team, and it'll force another turnover right here. As again, the Panthers, like I said, they're long, they're athletic. They can extend it out there. They take away the three-point shot as well from you. They run that trap so well. 3 for Pedersen, got the friendly bank and goes. And a timeout called by Coach Karpowitz. We'll take 1-2. 5:51 in the third, 30-18 West Ottawa.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
All right, welcome back. Nate and Chandler with you here. Vanderslice Gymnasium and Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. 30-18. Very good start out of the break for Coach Chapman's Panther side.
7-1 run for the Panthers in the first 2+. Pedersen as well. Bulldogs trying to slow things down and regroup there with that timeout.
Rakowski maneuvering against the trap. Fisher dumping for Hybor, engulfed, and a double dribble will go the other way. They execute this trap so well that it's very difficult to find any sort of tempo of the game a little bit. O'Connor for sprinting Patterson. Dumps it for Lamus, settled down by Overbeek, turns, can't get the friendly touch, rebound Hybor, and the Bulldogs are gonna look to push out of there. On to Rakowski, driving to the rack, left-hand shot, no. Rebound back the other way with Reynolds and the Panthers. Reynolds uses like that one as well.
Yeah, I think she's going to thrive even more if that's the way this game's going to go. She's going to be leading that attack.
Fisher to the rack, scores. Bulldogs trapping O'Connor. And the Bulldogs turn defense into offense.
Bulldogs, one of the best chances they've had in the transition. Fisher able to get the loose basketball, and then nice work from McKellar. And
22 now for Reynolds. Corner, McKellar triple. Off the mark. And the rebound last touch by Greg.
Pretty good. Good look, though, for the Bulldogs offense. Able to get a nice pop pass over the top to McKellar in the corner. It's a spot you want to attack against that 1-3-1. McKellar just not able to get the shot to drop.
Drive from Pedersen, tried a tough one that came straight in the arms of Lamus. Put back, got the friendly touch and goes for Brooke Pedersen. She's got 9, and the Panthers lead it by 14, and they bring the trap back. With numbers along with Lamus. Hits the streaking sophomore, cannot score. Second chance will send Magali Lamus to the line to shoot a couple right here. 3:20 in the third, 36-22.
1-3-1 definitely doing its job for the Panthers, forcing either some turnovers from the Bulldogs or some quick shots in the possession from deep. Right now the Bulldogs going a little bit cold from the field. The Panthers turning those rebounds into chances to run.
First for Lamus, no good. It's interesting the way they set up their 1-3-1 because traditionally you see the big in a 1-3-1 either right in the middle of it or underneath the basket. They've had Lamus on one of the wings helping trap a lot of the game. So it's an interesting little bit different look at how a 1-3-1 trap in the half court normally is utilized. Over the back foul on the Panthers, and Overbeek will give the Bulldogs the ball back in a second foul of the half on the Panthers. 36-22 West Ottawa with 3:20 in the third frame. They bring that trap back. You see how Lamus kind of drops back as well on the far side here. Fisher shifting into traffic and foul. That was a drive that was solely about drawing the contact. It did its job for Anaya Fisher.
Fisher able to get to the basket and score her couple points on a very similar move to that. She gets the basketball, the Bulldogs overloading one side of the floor, trying to shift that defense over, and then Fisher trying to break it.
DeVries mid-range, too strong. And DeVries was working for a minute to strip it away. The held ball will go West Ottawa's way. 3 minutes to go in the third. Reynolds with it for the Bulldogs. Reynolds drives, dump Lamus, unable to get the finish. Putback is good, and Lamus able to get 2 more at the line. She's got 4, and the Panthers stretch it to 38-22.
Lamus really started to contribute on the offensive glass now. A couple possessions right in a row here where she's getting chances. Second chance, third chance even.
Fisher will back it out. Pedersen the defense. McKellar. Pedersen again here. I'm sorry, Fisher again. Driving, tough reverse one falls for Anaya Fisher. Circus shot brings the Bulldogs then 38-24.
That was quite the adjustment in the air. Somehow was behind the backboard and able to reach back, one-handed fling it up there. Very tough shot.
Pedersen wing triple. Off the mark, another rebound collected by Lamus to keep the possession alive. The Bulldogs in that 2-3 trap. Delayed signal will stay with the Panthers. Rakowski and Dallett in for the Bulldogs with 1:59 in the third. McKellar and Perez will get a rest here as they approach the end of the third frame. Reynolds streaking through the defense. Floater goes. 24 now for Reynolds, and that's one of them that she comes up with that she's able to split that double team and just create on her own.
Yeah, the second she gets between those two defenders, you know she's got an opening.
Good finish. You may have not been able to see it by Tessa Gregoire. Makes it a 46-20 game. Down low to Lamus. Lamus turns the back, and a foul on the floor against the Bulldogs. We foul 3 of the half, and I think they'll get Gregoire on that grab. Just under 90 seconds to go in the third. Pedersen to throw in. Has it up top to Chelsea Overbeek. Reynolds with 24 in this contest. For the first time, 42-26.
Ball movement and work from Reynolds to get out of there and create an open shot for a teammate.
All right, timeout. Coach Karpwitz will take one as well.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car. Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Out of the break, McKellar knocked down a corner 3. She's got 8 now, or 9 I should say, in the contest. And back the other way, West Ottawa able to quickly answer. As Lamus got another post touch and now has 6. Dallett chucking one up and scoring. Another triple for the Bulldogs. They go back-to-back on the threes.
Couple hot shots there, able to get some open looks from the corner, knocking them down. McKellar already second 3 of the game, and then Dallett able to hit one as well.
Off the mark, Pedersen, and a foul on the fling to the floor there, is able to secure that one. Is Rakowski. That'll be foul 4 of the half on West Ottawa, 15.3 in the third. Rolled up here to Rakowski with 14. Bulldogs can get within single digits potentially on this possession. Dallett corner cut off by Reynolds. High board. Over Rakowski, did not get that one off in time, and that'll do it for the third frame. 44-32. Panthers leading Grandville after 3. We'll be right back.
He took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
and it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINR.
All right, welcome back. Nathan Chandler with you here from Vanderslice Gymnasium. Final frame is up. Rakowski with it, swinging for Anaya Fisher on the drive. Anaya, the senior, just off the mark. It'll stay with the Bulldogs on the touch out from the Panthers. 7:48 in the fourth, 44-32. Doubt to throw in. Finds Highbore. Highbore in the lane is grabbed and fouled by Lamus. That's foul 5.5 on the Panthers. We'll stay with Grandville again for another baseline inbound. Foul 2 on Lamus. Skip Highbore to the line, and that'll be foul 3 in quick succession now on Lamus, and 6 on the team. So the Bulldogs are shooting free throws the rest of the way as they trail still only by 12. I mean, for as much as that third quarter kind of went wrong, the pace of the game still generally slow enough and sloppy enough that they still have a chance to try to make a run here. Going to have to start quickly and now.
Yeah, those couple threes just a few seconds ago, big to keep them in it. Nice ad-lib there, I think, off the inbound pass. Dallett and Highbore, not what the play was drawn up to be, but recognizing Lamus in the lane, not watching Highbore behind her, able to make a cut to the basket.
All right, one more for Highbore. Able to go 1 of 2 at the line. She's got 4 in the game now. Reynolds, the Bulldogs are extending their own trap. Banked in. Chelsea Overbeek now with 5. A second banked in 3 of the game for West Ottawa. They wait at 47-33. Dowett trying her luck again. Just off the mark strong. Chase out of bounds will go the Panthers' direction. I think Dowett may have gotten away with a push in the back there as well. She's trying to push the sprinting Overbeek into the basketball to get the mark out on the Panthers, but it stays with West Ottawa here on the out of bounds. Errant pass. Miscommunication between Pedersen and Overbeek, and the Bulldogs take over again with 7-12.
Bulldogs have been able to force some turnovers. Now really need to capitalize and get some points off from that if you're going to chip into this lead.
McKellar for Dallett. Swung to McKellar again. Highbore against Lamus. Got the friendly roll. Golden, the sophomore, against the pressure, trapped up. Fisher there, along with Rakowski, in a timeout from Coach Chapman. 6:38 in the final frame, 47-35. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. All right. Bulldogs remain down 12 right here with 6:38 in the fourth. Panthers forced to call a timeout there as the Bulldogs up the pressure a little bit, and that's going to have to continue to probably be the story of the march down the stretch.
Yeah, the more time comes off the clock here, the more Bulldogs going to have to really turn up the aggressiveness defensively, throw out different looks, try to force the Panthers into some turnovers. Got a turnover the previous time down the floor, able to turn that into a 2 from Hybor down in the lane. Almost had another turnover. The Panthers very close to traveling before Coach Chapman got the timeout there.
Bulldogs will bring out the pressure here on the inbound. Overbeek looking to Reynolds in the backcourt and gets it there. Reynolds, Overbeek against the trap, and nice job by Hybor to sky and steal it, taken back away by Lamus. And off the foul, will stay with West Ottawa.
Both teams exchanging batted passes there. Pass down low. Hybor able to get her hands on it, and then trying to turn and get a pass down the floor the other way. The Panthers able to do the exact same thing.
Reynolds trapped in the corner, turns. Feed for Lamus is taken by the Bulldogs and Rakowski. Rakowski to the rack, deflected, and Lamus the board out of there. Reynolds, as the Bulldogs looking to blitz against her a little bit. Now Pedersen to run with it. Corner. O'Connor tries it. It's the side of the backboard. It'll go McKellar's way with the Bulldogs. Grandville pushing the pace on Anaya Fisher with numbers rolling around. Reynolds, no. O'Connor the board. Inside 6 minutes to go. West Ottawa by 12. Reynolds to the line. Little fake pass in the midst of the Euro step and able to draw the contact. We foul 5 on the Bulldogs of the half. And that foul is on Fisher for her first.
Yeah, Reynolds, I think the entire time knew she was going strong to the right side, able to use the head fake and fake pass out to the corner to get the defender to bite that just that extra step, those extra couple inches, got the foul call.
Reynolds crosses the 25-point threshold as Gregor will come in for Hybor. Got them both. 26 for Gabby Reynolds, and the lead is extended to 49-35. One 3-1 trap comes back out. Dowd against it. Gracie Rakowski up top, the third-year junior for the Bulldogs. Rakowski feeding Gregor mid-range off the mark, and Lamus the board. Lamus triple team trapped, and eventually Coach Chapman will take his 30-second timeout to stop it right there. 5:19, fourth quarter, 49-35. West Ottawa leading Grandville. Scott Bates is your local Grandville, Jennison, and Hudsonville Farmers Insurance agent and is a great longtime supporter of Game Night and offers business insurance, auto, homeowners coverage, and more. Give Scott a call today at 616-531-3441 or stop in the agency located at 3181 Prairie Street, Southwest in Grandville. All right, quick timeout, chance to reset. Again, the Bulldogs able to force Chapman to burn a second timeout in just a few minutes with their trap they've been able to bring.
That trap's been pretty effective. It's been able to give the Panthers some issues. Yeah, right away, just able to set it up off the missed shot, forcing another timeout, but in the half court as well. Forced some batted passes, got some turnovers, some easier baskets. Looking to really turn it up as we approach 5 minutes left in the game.
Bulldogs extending that 2-3 trapping zone. Overbeek hits Lamus all alone and got the easy 2. 8 now for Lamus. Panthers in a trap of their own. Rakowski for Fisher, driving into the lane, no. And the rebound down to Lamus. Reynolds to bring it up as the Bulldogs blitz at her. Reynolds weaving all the way to the basket, into the contact, and Gabby Reynolds will go to the line for a couple. 4:44, fourth quarter, 51-35, 16-point lead for the Panthers.
Reynolds able to once again get down all the way down to the left block before the help defender there comes to try to cut her off. At that point, it's too late. The reach-in foul is, she was that close to the basket. If you're going to do that, I think that needs to come further away. That needs to come closer to the elbow. Really, that far away from the basket. If you're going to try to force her and deter her away from the basket,
Reynolds got them both at the line. She's got 28 in this contest. She'll come all the way out here in the 1-3-1. Rakowski, tough from the elbow. Strong and O'Connor the board. And the run out to Reynolds, all the way to the basket. Left-hand layup, and Reynolds with 30 in this one.
Really what makes that even more impressive. Not a triple on the night for Reynolds, all from the free throw line or two-point baskets.
Dowd is fouled. She'll get a 1-and-1 out of it. 4-14, final frame. Fouls again Patterson, her second. Dowd able to rattle that one home. She's got 4. Skolden checking in for the Panthers. And Dowd able to get the rattle on that. She's got 5 on the game off the bench. Perez will check in off the made free throws. O'Connor for Gabby Reynolds, freshly across the 30-point threshold. Reynolds to the line. Got the contact there with McKellar. Now both teams even with 7 free throws and shooting the rest of the way.
Reynolds able to know the defender right there. Knows he's got McKellar trying to play up into her face, trying to cut off her ability to get inside the arc. And still creative enough to draw the contact. She's getting herself to the free throw line with add even some more points to her already very impressive night.
32 for Reynolds, and the lead is 20. They'll extend the pressure some more. Rakowski to the line. Rakowski got the first. She's got 6. Rakowski hits them both. Bulldogs bring the full court pressure. Patterson breaks it for O'Connor with space in the corner. Cannot cash in. And the rebound down to a chasing Rakowski, who's fouled. And that'll be a 1-and-1 for Gracie Rakowski. 3:40 in the fourth, 57-39.
Rakowski going to get rewarded for chasing down the loose ball. Long rebound off the missed 3 and off the front iron. Rakowski trying to chase it down. Just an arm foul. Battling for the rebound. Rakowski going to get a couple more shots at the free throw line.
Rakowski, 3 of the last 3 at the stripe. Make it 4-4. Bulldogs bring the pressure again. Here's Patterson. Out of the trap, poked out of there nicely by McKellar. Perez the steal, the drive, and Emma Perez will go to the line for a couple. Foul will be on O'Connor. 3.5 in the third, 57-41.
McKellar able to get in front of that pass, block it, and then not only deflect the pass, but the awareness to see Perez breaking free already slaps it back that way. Able to get Perez running.
That's foul 4 on O'Connor. And the Bulldogs are into the double bonus now. Perez unable to get either to rattle. Oops. Reynolds against the pressure to take. Reynolds trapped backcourt. Got it to Pedersen. Pedersen will break it over. Reynolds again. Deep three over top of Gregor, banked it in. That would be your third banked in triple of the game for the Panthers at 60-41.
Bulldogs got to be wondering what's going on here. The three of them in one game like that. And the Bulldogs figuring we're trying everything we can defensively. You're trying to slow them down in the lane and in the paint, and all of a sudden now they're banking in three-point shots.
Panthers have returned to the man defense. Reverse Rakowski off the mark. And Lamus is fouled. Now she'll get a 1-and-1. Under 3 minutes to go, 60-41. The Teacher Appreciation Night festivities here at Grandville are going to have to wait for the end of this one because both teams are working on shooting a lot of free throws the last 3 minutes of this one. It's on down to the officials now. How many fouls we call them, boys? Lamus unable to hit the first, put the rebound down to Overbeek. Gabby Reynolds in the wing, up fake and drive, and fouled. Oh, a travel. It'll go back the other way.
I was having the exact same thought there. The answer was looking like a lot of free throws to your question there for a second, but travel called on Reynolds first.
Rakowski driving on Reynolds, and Reynolds the reach and the foul. Double bonus, 2 at the line for Rakowski, 60-41.
Rakowski really getting the chance to improve her offensive numbers here at the free throw line, doing a good job hitting a high percentage of her shots as she's gotten the opportunity.
Rakowski in double-digit scoring now. Ding checks in for the Bulldogs also. Anne-Marie Verweiss will come in here for Coach Karpowitz. Good work continues at the line for Rakowski. She's got 11. The Bulldogs bring the full court pressure again. Pedersen able to beat it on the break. Here's Reynolds. Sized up by Rakowski. McKellar joins. Under 2:22. Trap is on. Reynolds again, and Reynolds is fouled. That'll be on Perez.
Coaching staff right away encouraging Perez, if you're coming on the double team there, no need to reach in, just stay straight up defensively. Reynolds not the one, especially if you're trying to trap there, Reynolds not the one you're trying to send to the free throw line, just trying to force her into a bad pass. Or
M and Gomez in, Lozano in, and Reynolds back at the line and has another one coming. That is 36 for Gabby Reynolds now. I think there's certainly a round number that she's probably thinking about hitting. Maybe Coach Chapman is on board with hitting before she ends her night. Never mind. 2:11, fourth quarter, 62-43. Have I ever said anything predictively on one of these broadcasts that was not proven wrong within 8 seconds?
I know the feeling.
Rakowski can't get a little bit of the bank magic to open up for her, and West Ottawa will take it out of. Ray again, the senior, skipping for inside 90 seconds. And the Bulldogs will call a timeout right here. That'll help in part get the rest of the bench out there for West Ottawa. .124 in the fourth, 62-43. Here is Perez on Gomez. Perez is fouled on the floor. Doesn't matter where she's fouled. Bulldogs have been in the double bonus for a while, and she'll get a couple here at the stripe. 1:17 in the fourth, 62-43.
Just getting the chance to handle the basketball a little bit more here late in the game. Able to reverse her dribble, spin back, get inside the arc, and try to make something happen.
Got the first. So Emma Perez on the score sheet. 1:17 in the fourth. And she's unable to get that one to go. It'll go West Ottawa's way. Gomez. Ray in the wing, three, got it. Lauren Ray knocking it down off the bench, the senior with a triple, 65-44. For Weiss, lobbing for Grang down low, and she gets the putback. And a foul as Verweiss tries to run with it. And that's double bonus. It'll send Anne-Marie Verweiss to the line for a couple. .40 seconds to go. Verweiss on the board, junior wing. Got them both. Hey, between some shot making, some free throws, the offense actually been pretty good since the benches got cleared. Both these teams know to hit some shots. M drives corner. Ray trying another one, can't hit that one. He'll stay with West Ottawa with 25. West Ottawa will get back in the win column after they dropped their last four. Actually, they're on a 4-game losing streak as they'll go to 12-4 on the year. And the Bulldogs will drop to 7-9 here tonight. Skolton with 17. Held ball stays with West Ottawa. Here's Gomez. Fouled. Oh, it's an offensive foul. It's going back the other way. Well, good. No free throws on that. 12.6 in the fourth, 65-48.
Trying to run the clock out. I think they really are, but right now the officials still calling travels, I think.
Oh, it was a travel, whatever it was. Here's DeVries. Final 2 seconds. That'll do it. West Ottawa, the Panthers, back in the win column, 65-48. They hang on down the stretch with a good second half burst and win. This one, welcome in to the Bates Agency postgame show. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. All right, CT. Obviously an interesting game. The Bulldogs had a lot of stretches where they were right in this one, able to compete. Gabby Reynolds goes for nearly 40. You see their offense be able to pick things up along with that trap that kind of turned things around. I mean, I think Coach Chapman was able to poke the right buttons tonight to kind of keep West Ottawa's lead safe and then help them grow it down the stretch.
Yeah, I think much like the first matchup between these two teams, Bulldogs doing a good job keeping things under control. Panthers not really mixing up the look defensively a whole lot. And Grandville able to stay right in it, but then the second half showing the 1-3-1 defense, getting the Bulldogs to speed up a little bit, turn the basketball over, really get Gabby Reynolds going. She was already having a tremendous first half, had 15 points, and then able to even have a better second half in terms of points as well, where she was getting out and having some easy looks in transition.
All right, we'll be right back here on the Bates Agency postgame show. 65-48 West Ottawa goes 12-4 in the year. The Bulldogs girls fall to 7-9. We will be right back.
Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car. Hey, my car! And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
All right, welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency postgame show. All right, CT, 65-48 the final. West Ottawa girls beat Grandville. The Teacher Appreciation Night festivities underway here at Vanderslice Gymnasium. Take us through our scoring recap.
All right, for the Bulldogs, the leading scorer, Rakowski with 11, McKellar with 9, Gregor with 8, Ivor with 6, Fisher with 4, Grang with 2, Perez with 1, Dallet with 5 as well in there. For the Panthers, leading all scorers by a wide margin, Gabe Reynolds 38 points, Pedersen with 9, Lemus 8, Ray with 3, Overbeek with 5, and O'Connor with 2.
All right, so let's move on to our Centennial Securities Player of the Game. It's Gabby Reynolds, for obvious reasons, goes for 38 and controls everything for the Panthers.
Yeah, she did. We said at the beginning of the game and the pregame that the offense runs through her, and she's going to put up a high volume of shots, and she made them count tonight, hit a high percentage. Only had 1 made 3 on the night, and that was very late in the game, so doing all of her damage off the bounce and close to the basket, hit some mid-range shots in there as well. Had an impressive night at the free throw line, but just being aggressive attacking, that's her game, and she executed it here.
All right, so that'll wrap it up. West Ottawa goes to 12-4 on the year. The Bulldogs fall to 7-9. Let's reset the broadcast. When we come back, we'll be back with our Bates Agency pregame show for the boys' game as Grandville West Ottawa boys are on deck. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Winter finals will be here before you know it, and there's still a need for registered officials. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. Welcome to 2023 as we pick up our winter sports season already in progress. While it seems like the fall season just wrapped up, winter championships will be here soon. So let's get you caught up on the whens and wheres for each of our sports. First is the Upper Peninsula Swimming and Diving Finals for both boys and girls on February 18th. And then it's on to Team Wrestling Finals on February 24th and 25th in Kalamazoo. And that's followed by Boys and Girls Skiing Finals February 27th. March is when the schedule really heats up. The competitive cheer finals will be March 2nd and 3rd this year, and those will be held at the McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant. Girls and boys bowling finals will be held March 3rd and 4th, the same weekend as individual wrestling finals at Ford Field. Ice hockey drops the puck March 9th through 11th for semifinals and finals at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth. Gymnastics finals are that weekend as well. Those will be held at Lakeland High School. And the Lower Peninsula Boys Swimming and Diving Finals are also March 10th and 11th. Girls basketball invades the Breslin Center on March 16th for the start of 3 days of semifinals and finals action. Champions will be crowned on Saturday, March 18th. And then the boys move in the next weekend. Semifinal play starts March 23rd, and all 4 finals will be Saturday, March 25th. Both boys and girls basketball finals will be carried live on Bally Sports Detroit. For schedules, pairings, brackets, tickets, and streaming information, the best place to go is to the newly redesigned MHSAA.com. Everything that you need for our winter finals can be found there. Game balls this week go to Belding junior wrestler Jack Ward. He notched career win number 100 over the break, joining his older brother Mitchell and his dad/coach Art as 100-match winners at Belding. To Bedford's Victoria Gray, she scored 25 points in a 9-point win over South Lyon East in the Airport Showcase. Bedford is off to a 7-0 start this year in girls basketball. And to Montebello senior JT Smith. He went over the 1,000 career points mark in a win over St. Charles.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MIStudentAid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
If you've seen the movie Hoosiers, you know that a basketball rim is 10 feet above the ground. That's the same if you're in the gym at Beaver Island High School or at Little Caesars Arena. But what are the other court dimensions? To start, courts are typically 84 feet long, but can be up to 94 feet long. They're also 50 feet wide. The free throw line is 15 feet from the face of the backboard, and the high school three-point line is 19 feet 9 inches from the basket. Each hoop is a circle, 18 inches in diameter. The boys play with a basketball 29.5 inches in circumference. The girls play with one at 28.5 inches in circumference. And believe it or not, 2 girl balls will go through a standard rim at the same time.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you are interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. Sticking with officiating, since 2020, the number of registered officials in Michigan has fallen from more than 9,000 to less than 8,000. It's a dip that puts extra strain on our current officials. But for the fall 2022 season, the number of registered officials is more in line with where we were pre-pandemic, and things seem to be slowly trending up. The MHSAA has increased pay for postseason games and provided membership in the National Association of Sports Officials. Membership gives officials expanded insurance coverages, access to professional services and development, and a subscription to an MHSAA-focused referee magazine. But there's still a need for more. If you are interested, go to MHSAA.com and click on Officials for more information. Because without officials, it's just practice. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Lobbed ahead over the timeline to Gable. Gable straight to the basket. Elevates. Slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryan dribbles goes to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryans, Vanderjack, up fake, launches a three. Good! Oh my goodness! Out to the point. Rosema, innocent space. Shot, scores! 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4 unanswered. Line, giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down. All right, welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. And we're on to our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. West Ottawa, Grandville boys on deck now. CT as we turn things around, and two teams that have been heading in different directions this season that meet back up to start the second half of the OK Red year. They had about a 5-point game the first time they matched up, but since then West Ottawa now 3-11 overall on their season, 1-6 on their run through the OK Red. And the Bulldogs, of course, 8-5 overall on the year. They've dropped 2 in a row, but are tied at 5-2 atop the OK Red conference. And I think that's exactly where to start with this game. It's a game, both teams in the same district and kind of heading in that same direction. But for the Bulldogs, the conference still very much in play. For West Ottawa, it's about garnering second half of the season momentum. Yes, of course, but this is a game where West Ottawa is looking to come on the road, play spoiler, and jumpstart their second half of the year versus a Bulldog team that needs a win tonight.
Yeah, I think both teams really looking to change things up a little bit. For the Panthers, their season to this point has been a struggle. New coaching staff trying to figure things out here in a very tough slate that they've had to play against, and still looking to get into a rhythm there and put something together as they go into the second half of the season. For the Bulldogs, pretty good first half run through the OK Red. As you said, tied for first place, feeling pretty good. But when you look back, the last couple games for the Bulldogs, tough loss against Rockford, and then a tough loss as well on Tuesday night in the non-conference matchup. So I think the Bulldogs trying to right the ship quickly here as they have an OK Red opponent that they've already beaten and trying to get back on track. Absolutely. Again, I mean, Rockford, the Bulldogs scored 21. They come back. They struggle, of course, offensively. Last time, just putting up 39 against Grand Rapids Christian, which is a game it's a darn near wash that you can say with how good that team, of course, is on the season. But the first talking point tonight here on the Bates Agency pregame show, of course, is the race for the Red and the OK Red standings entering tonight. All known, of course, for that four-way tie atop the conference. Grandville, Rockford, Hudsonville, East Kentwood all knotted right now at 5-2. And then very, very good Grand Haven, just one game back of them as well. You see the Panthers come on the floor. They sit at 1-6, but that's the talking point, CT, and for good reason tonight. It is completely wide open. We each in our Tailgate Report podcast picked Rockford at the start of the season to win the OK Red. I think for me that prediction stays alive with the way they finished the run throughout the OK Red, but it is as true of a toss-up as you could possibly imagine. There are 5 teams that if you told me any number of them won the conference, I would believe you. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if we finish this whole thing and all 5 are tied. Yeah, it's very well possible. I think considering how those teams already beat up on each other the first time around, I think you could easily see that again where you see a couple losses for any of those teams at the top. They're going to beat each other up a little bit. I think the more we've seen Rockford, they've been hot and cold, but when they're right, I think they've shown that they can be one of the top teams in the conference there. But obviously, each one of those teams, the top 4 or 5 teams, have the ability. You can see it there in the standings that they can win against any of the teams in the conference. They put a couple good games together, and things are looking quite a bit different.
Yeah, 100%. For the Bulldogs, though, very important. And it's a game in some regard tonight. When you look at this, you can almost say it's a little bit of a must-win feel. To lose 2 games back-to-back and the way they lost them, and now this game and Caledonia. You have back-to-back games against a couple of the teams at the bottom of the conference. They lost to Caledonia the first time around. I don't think you can expect if you're Grandville to say we're going to run the table against Hudsonville, East Kentwood, Grand Haven again. And for that reason, winning tonight becomes that much more important because they have to get the momentum back, but also just a win is important. It nothing to do with momentum, nothing about where the team's at. If you're racing for a conference, the win, very important for the jockeying tonight.
Multiple factors, as you said, that are played into this. When you look at, you want to stop the bleeding, number one, 2-game losing streak. You want to cut that off as fast as you possibly can and just kind of get back to the way you were when you're feeling good. Offense playing good, defensive locking down. You want to get back to that as soon as possible. And of course, you're playing a West Ottawa team that you've already beat, the team that's had their struggles. We talked about that and the way their record is and the first time these two teams met. And of course, it's basketball. Any team can beat anyone on any given night. But this is a game that I think the Bulldogs definitely have circled, that this is a game where they need to figure things out because it gets tough very quick.
All right, a lot more still to break down here on the Bates Agency pregame show. We're going to step aside. Right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FIN.
Rather than just always relying on one player.
Yeah, Scott Bates Agency pregame show continues here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. CT, I think the next thing that you have to mention most notably in this contest is break me every time still. Every single time that happens, it gets me. The winners still go to the Heartland student section last year at the Breslin Center. Those guys win every time. Season. And we'll wrap up our broadcast with the Heinz Orthodontics smile of the game.
Drive. I'm Chandler too.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave this in.
All right.
This is staying in the show. He is Chandler Timmer. I am Nate Dreyer. This is what happens when you work together for 6 years. The names are one.
We're just one, yeah.
Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Michigan Game Night, Tailgate Report. We clearly have to stop talking. I do at least. I will see you all. I see you too. Friday night, Grandville, Wyoming. I think 6:30. We're on the air for that. Goodbye.
And Cam Regnerus has scoring report for the Panthers. 4 points thrown at that point guard position. Tough backcourt in general. Getting to some of those other pieces that we have out there. After 3 years, it finally almost came down on me. Good catch. I don't know what kid caught that, but that was a good catch. But regardless, a tough back.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
Hey, my car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Welcome back. Scott Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency, Nate Dreyer, Chandler. Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency, pregame show, Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Getting close to the tip-off. Grandville West Stoddard, the 8-5 Bulldogs, and the 3-11 Panthers. Jump-starting our second half of the OK Red season. Let's meet a little bit of what the Panthers bring to the table, Chandler, and it's going to start, and it increasingly has been more and more about Jackson Wiggering. He's 6'9". He can score from the outside, yes, a little, but with that sort of size advantage, he's the only guy in the OK Red that has a size advantage over Cam Ragnaris, and he's been semi-efficient utilizing it in the past, and they're going to need him to really, really step up his game down the stretch run to turn their season around a little bit.
Yeah, going to have to continue to find ways to keep him involved. I think times we've seen the Panthers in the past, they just have a tendency to go away from him a little bit and not utilize him. I think at that size and a matchup tonight, it's going to be a real battle between both Ragnaris and Wiggering. I think the Panthers rather trying to get him involved in the offense a little bit more consistently, and he's also going to have a huge role defensively in trying to limit what Cam Ragnaris is doing.
So you look on the inside, you see Wiggering on the outside. Who's running the offense? I mean, John Beetham, third-year junior guard. We've seen him up here. I mean, he had to kind of get rushed into a starting role his freshman year because of that district that was played under some of the COVID stuff. Both they and Hudsonville that year had some COVID positives within their team. I can remember in that district champion or district semifinal game, and then West Ottawa winning it, moving on to the district championship game, and Beetham was forced into a bigger role as a freshman, but Beetham, a very active scorer, handles the basketball well, of course. Just kind of the jitterbug that this offense needs a little bit. He needs a little bit more help from time to time, but he's the guy that will be starting the break.
Yeah, he can be a guy that handles the ball very effectively. He can be the guy that gets the offense going for this team. He can be creative, is pretty quick, opening up things, and the Bulldogs are going to try to limit what he does in order to keep the offense rolling for the Panthers.
For Grandville, we mentioned, of course, the importance of this game. One of the things that definitely has been coming to the forefront is some of their offensive struggles. We'll get to that in a minute. But defensively for Grandville, mixing things up more. Grand Rapids Christian, the Bulldogs brought a little bit of a 2-3 zone, even a 2-3 trapping zone. I think, though, this is a game we can expect. Coach Young likes his man-to-man physical defense. I think he'll be able to stick to it.
Yeah, I think there's some matchups that we've seen already throughout the course of the season and probably coming up too that the Bulldogs are going to determine that maybe the best route is to mix up their
tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's going to be some times where we might see that come back out, but I think you're exactly right. Tonight's probably the night where you lock back in, you trust your man-to-man defense, your on-ball defenders to try to shut the Panthers down and see if that is able to get the job done.
Now, as I said, the Bulldog offense is the one that has been, I think, brought to the forefront a little bit. And the offense has been in Hudsonville and Grand Haven and East Kentwood and then Jenison as well. The offense averaging nearly 60 points per game despite the pace they worked at. They scored at over a 50% clip. They were nearly 50% from the line. The big stat at the bottom. They shared the ball so well, and you can see the difference. The last couple of games, these back-to-back losses, the offense has gone completely cold. They're not sharing the ball as well as a team as well. I think you can really look at these numbers right here as the base of where the losses have come from and where things need to turn around tonight, and I think we can expect things to turn around for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, anytime I think you've got two sets of numbers that like that are so drastically different. I think usually the truth probably somewhere in between. I think you look at those 4-game win streak and you think that's probably on the high side for some of those percentages for what this Bulldogs team is going to be offensively. And I think you look at on the right side, you factor in the equality of the opponent, the defense the opposing team was playing, and just shots not falling, and you realize that you're probably going to be somewhere in between. Of course, you're hoping it's closer to what that win streak was, and I think it definitely can be given the right circumstances, but Bulldogs trying to break out of that funk a little bit and find some of that hot shooting that they had just a few weeks ago.
I want to focus on that bottom stat in particular in terms of some of the ball sharing. We've talked about it often, how the offense goes as Cam Ragnaris goes, and a lot of times that may mean either Ragnaris getting assists himself or kicking out, extra pass, open guy, with him drawing the defense, getting the defense off, helping use that ball movement to get guys open. You wouldn't normally look to the big guy that operates almost exclusively in the post and sometimes top of the key to be where that number comes from, but I mean, that assist number is jarring, really, to see 3 times as many assists essentially coming when they're on their game.
Yeah, I think it's just what Ragnaris brings to the offense when he gets a touch, the defense has to respect it. With his size, there's not many people that can match up one-on-one. You've seen double teams, you've seen triple teams, you've seen different sorts of shading his way to try to slow him down. And so all it takes is Regnerus to touch the basketball, and that's going to open up some spacing for the rest of your shooters on the floor. I think they've gotten into part of that, again, due to the matchup, part of that just some tough nights shooting the basketball, but I think they've gotten a little bit away from that and into trying to just have to, really it's been on Tuesday night at least, Tyson Mann just trying to win on isolation one-on-one attacking the basket, and he can do that, but that's not a consistent form of a functioning offense all the time. I think for the type of players and the type of system that the Bulldogs have, you need to get the basketball moving around the floor a little bit. You see those assist numbers. You definitely have capable passers, guys that can score given the space, but you kind of need to create that within the offense.
All right, remember, I know we haven't even started this game tonight, but as we previewed before the girls' game, remember tomorrow on MGN, we're back on the air from Aquinas at 3 p.m. We have 2 games from the showcase tomorrow. As Chandler says, not as crazy tomorrow. And we do have some crazy good matchups, though. Northview, Warren Lincoln. A really good Warren Lincoln team with a lot of young talent from their side of the state. It's one of the better teams I was reading that Warren Lincoln has had in probably 20 years. There's a lot of excitement around the Abes. The Lincoln Abes is their name in mascot, which I suppose makes sense. Going up against the Northview team, which we know about. I mean, 4 transfers and 2 D1 brothers and everything else you could ask for. Coaches from across the area put together. They are as close to a super team as you're going to find in West Michigan High School basketball, in my opinion. Muskegon, North Farmington, regardless where you look for your state rankings, they are both top 5. There are even some ranking services, one of which is the analytics Goose Poop, has both of them at 1 and 2 in the state. North Farmington 1, Muskegon 2. They're that good. Great matchups, back-to-back. Looking forward to it. I think we're planning on probably hanging around watching some of the games after as well when we're done being on the air, so it's always a really, really great day that Brandon Guyton and company put together with the 2K23 Showcase. Had a great weekend last weekend, and looking forward to it again. We're going to step aside here in the Bates Agents pregame show one more time, and when we come back, we'll work our way through some of the keys to the game and get to basketball.
Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number 1 personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Hi everyone, Nate from MGN. Hopefully everyone is enjoying today's presentation of Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. We are incredibly proud of the last few seasons of MGN and the coverage and broadcast editions that we've been able to bring, including adding in-house produced video coverage this winter. We also are very, very excited for the future and have some big plans on how to expand and improve further upon our video, podcast, and radio coverage. We are incredibly thankful to Grandville and the Michigan high school sports community for their support as we've seen our audience continue to grow like wildfire, seeing upwards of 8,000 to 10,000 people in total tuning in for some of our largest Friday night and playoff coverage games. We're also, of course, thankful to the Grandville Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities for their great long-time presenting sponsorship of MGN. Because of them, all these great additions that we've been able to make over the last few years and all these plans we have going forward have been able to happen. Of course, also, we have to thank the community that is tuned in, and because of all that, we're in a position where we are looking to add partners here at MGN as we continue to look to improve that coverage going forward, along with our other due diligence looking on ahead. We can even reach out to you, the listener here today, if you, your company, or somewhere you know may have interest in partnering with Michigan Game Night. please feel free to reach out. MGN offers a unique opportunity to sponsor both the Grandville area, get your ads reached out into the West Michigan area and beyond throughout the state of Michigan with playoff coverage. There's no one broadcast team and maybe even additional broadcasts within the MGN window that quite offer that sort of benefit for your company. And through customizable presenting sponsorship plans that are for the 2023-2024 school year, we'll even be able to throw in this winter onto these affordable plans. I think there's a unique, customizable deal that could be met to help best find the needs of your company, meet them to MGN. We are so excited about what's coming. We're thankful to the community that's been able to support us over the last few years, and we're really, really ready to see what's next. And hopefully, along with the great support from the Bates Agency and Centennial Securities, we also are going to be able to march forward with even more great things going forward. We've added video coverage, and now I think it's time to add on even more to our video, radio, and podcast coverage going forward. So thanks again, everyone, for their support. And make sure if you do have interest to reach out through MichiganGameNight.com. You can find an entire contact page right there, in particular through email, migamenenight@gmail.com. There's phone numbers and more also listed that you can reach out to myself through on the Michigan Game Night website. Thanks again, everyone. Now let's get back to the game.
All right, welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer and Chandler Timmer with you here on the Bates Agency pregame show. Grandville and West Ottawa, about 90 seconds away in CT. Give us your keys to the game.
Yeah, I think for the Bulldogs, you continue to try to find that secondary scoring. I think, Tyson Mann has been pretty consistent in bringing that scoring touch. Regneris as well, but looking to some of the other guys in the starting lineup. You're looking to Logan Stockwell, Quinn Hendrickson, some of the other guys off the bench, Ryder Haight as well. Guys that have made shots in the past, had some big offensive performances. Looking for those guys to find their rhythm once again and get this offense going.
And for West Ottawa, I think on the other side, Wiggering probably going to be a big part of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think they really kind of need to control that matchup both ends of the floor. Wiggering is going to have a big responsibility against Regneris. He's going to have to try to slow him down. We talked about how big Regneris is for the Bulldogs offense. If Wiggering can win that matchup, they're doing their first step to shutting down the Bulldogs. If Wiggering is able to provide something offensively as well in a tough matchup with Regneris, his shot blocking ability, I think that helps open up the rest of their offense as well.
All right, that'll do it for the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Grandville, West Ottawa, the boys game on deck right after this. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with basketball here on MGN.
And that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
All right, Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. It's game night on Michigan Sports Radio, and it's the second half of the OK Red season starting tonight from Vanderslice Gymnasium. West Ottawa 3-11 on the year. They are coached by Jared Riddell, the West Ottawa alum, in his first season running the Panthers. They will be starting the 6'5" junior Danny Sitterlett, along with the 6'2" junior Tyler Behrens, draws into their starting lineup. The senior wing Theo Borgman gets the start, along with the senior center Jackson Wigerink, and they will be starting the sophomore guard Hudson Vellinga. A much different starting lineup than what we saw the last time the Panthers took on the Bulldogs. For Grandville, well, you know the lineup. If you are a Bulldog fan this season, let's take it down to the PA, and we'll let the Bulldogs go through their introductions. All right, the Bulldogs, coached by Desmond Young. They start Tyson Mann, Quentin Hendrickson in the backcourt, Logan Stockwell on the wing, Regneris and Heckman up front. Grandville home whites, traveling blacks for West Ottawa. It's the second half of the OK Red season. The Bulldogs in that four-way tie at the top of the OK Red at 5-2 and 8-5 overall on the season. West Ottawa right now sitting at 3-11 on the season and 1-6 the first time through the OK Red. Wigerink jumps on Regneris. The only time all year that Cam Regneris gives up a little bit to his counterpart. He gives up about 1.5 inches or so to Jackson Wigerink on the jump. So a different look for West Ottawa in their starting lineup than last time we saw. Will it be a different result? The Bulldogs won it by 5 last time, and the Panthers get it off the jump. Wigerink to run the offense for Danny Sitterlett, the sniper wing. Vellinga, the sophomore, cut off on the drive by Stockwell. The Bulldogs open in that physical, tough man-to-man defensive look. Theo Borgman to run the offense. Here's Sitterlett. Sitterlett turns and scores. 6'5" junior, able to climb the defender and put the Panthers on the board first.
Sitterlett able to get right around that left elbow area and hit a fadeaway. Good shot for the Panthers to get their night started offensively.
Tyson Mann had 12 against Grand Rapids Christian. He'll kick for Cam Regneris. Stockwell, triple try. Off the mark, he has been fighting it the last couple of games from deep and unable to get jump started here. Behrens for Borgman, triple. Misses it all, and Stockwell the board.
Even though Stockwell missing that 3 early, important that he continues to shoot that. And when he's got to hit that shot, I think that it really helps his offense. Eventually, some of those are going to start to fall for him.
Regneris blocked by Wigerink at the basket. Last touch by the Bulldogs out of bounds, and West Ottawa takes over again. Actually, there was a foul call on the fight for the ball, not just the out-of-bounds mark. So a foul on Cam Regneris. So early a foul already on Cam, and he's got to be careful already with the foul, just a little past that first minute of the game. West Ottawa, the early lead, going to work here. Vellinga, the sophomore, driving. Saw him off the bench the last time these teams played. He's a real sniper and a great scorer as a sophomore. Drive from Borgman, blocked by Regneris. Here is Tyson Mann. Sitterlett, the defense on him, get about 4 inches, 5 inches to Sitterlett on that matchup. Quentin Hendrickson. Corner man with a ton of space. Unable to cash in. We showed you the stats pregame. The three-point shooting a big part also of where the Bulldogs offense has gone, even with open looks. Wing, Sitterlett, got it. All 5 points in this one early to Danny Sitterlett. It's 5-0 West Ottawa.
Early on, the real open three for Tyson Mann not falling. Sitterlett coming right back quickly the other direction. Defender in the area, not wide open, but a pretty clean look at the basket and hits it.
Stockwell in the wing. Man to Heckman, gave a shoulder, and the Bulldogs still unable to get on the board. Slow start offensively, continuing here. Borgman. Wigerink, the big guy, working from the perimeter, and a travel. He stuttered and shuffled those feet on the stop. And the Bulldogs will take it back over with 5:18, still looking for the first points of the game.
Yeah, the Bulldogs going to take that Wigerink catching the basketball well away from the basket. He can handle it from the perimeter and attack off the bounce, but Regneris holding his ground, forcing the travel.
Vellinga reaches, steals, the sophomore all the way to the rack, blocked off the backboard, but a goaltend. 7-0 West Ottawa.
After that one got poked free, Hendrickson and Regneris both trying to chase that one down. Regneris close to getting there, but just a second too late as basketball already off the backboard and the point's going to count.
Quentin Hendrickson, and the Bulldogs are on the board.
That's a big shot for the Bulldogs to get on the scoreboard here for one. Quentin Hendrickson, also a player that's looking for some confidence and can shoot the three ball very effectively when it's going.
Sitterlett got another one. 8 for Danny Sitterlett. Very unhappy. Coach Young calls a timeout. And it's a 7-point lead for West Ottawa early. 4.5 to go in the first. We'll be right back.
To helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
Out of the break, Cam Regneris goes to work in the post and gets fouled, so Cam will go to the line and shoot 2 here. First foul of the game against West Ottawa, and that is foul number 1 on Jackson Wigerink. So 1 foul on Regneris, 1 foul on Wigerink in the early stages of this one. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Regneris splashes the first and gets himself on the board.
Possession starting offensively for the Bulldogs. They flip-flop, they put Regneris on the perimeter and get a post up for Heckman, something we've seen a little bit more and more from the Bulldogs. And let Heckman try to go to work in the post area. A couple offensive rebounds later, Cam Regneris with a chance at the free throw line.
Cam able to hit them both. Here's Vellinga, defended by Mann. Sitterlett spins on Stockwell, tough pull-up, and Heckman the board. Danny Sitterlett going to work pretty effectively early. The junior 6'5" wingman leading the offense. Regneris gave a shoulder on Wigerink and cannot finish. Borgman the skying rebound. Theo Borgman, the kicker for the Panthers in the fall, driving across on a handoff for the big guy Wigerink. Working from the perimeter. Unable to get the touch, but the putback will fall for Theo Borgman. 12-5 West Ottawa. Tough start continues for the Bulldogs here on their home floor.
And the defense from Regneris on Wigerink doing everything he can, but that opens up the weak side of the lane for the offensive glass.
Regneris hooked no on the rebound to Borgman, and a foul on the Bulldogs on the chase up the floor. It's on Heckman, his first, team second. Cowan Highboard checks in for Hackman as the Bulldogs get a little bit more of a perimeter-oriented look out there. But all in all, I mean, outside of the Rockford game, and maybe even including the Rockford game, one of the tougher starts on both ends that the Bulldogs have had this year. Looking to avoid losing 3 in a row here tonight and looking to jumpstart their second half of the OK Red. Vellinga to the wing for Sitterlet, defended by Stockwell. Stolen by Cam Regneris. Man with some space, bouncing in the lane, blocked off the backboard by Wiggerink. Regneris, corner, Tyson Mann, 3, no, missed it all with some late closing pressure. Bulldogs maybe wanted to foul on the closeout at the end. Vellinga for Borgman. Highbore, the sophomore, bringing the defense. Jackson Wiggerink, the 6'9 senior, feeding Borgman. 2:17 in the quarter. Stockwell got the hand in there, but Vellinga able to keep the possession alive with 2:10. It's like an old school West Ottawa possession. They find Sitterlet and he spins it home. Danny Sitterlet, red hot with 11 of his team's 15, and the Panthers lead it by 10.
Sitterlet shooting the ball very confidently, getting the start here tonight. His third triple already in the first quarter.
Hendrickson, defended by Vellinga. Drove by him, reverse, a tough one, will not go. 1:41 in the first. Bulldogs forcing it a little bit offensively. Vellinga, triple. High off the mark. Tyson Mann, the skying rebound. Stockwell tries a 3. Got it. That's a 3 that's a lot bigger than just the 3 points it represents.
Yeah, definitely very close. At a look earlier, just a harsh rattle out that one. Pure. Big for Stockwell. Hit that 3. Hendrickson with a 3 earlier. Those are 2 guys that we talked about the Bulldogs need to get going.
Final 1:10. Out of the reach of Borgman, and the Bulldogs take over. Changes for both teams in pretty wide regard. Baldwin, Bosma, Beetham, all back out there, along with Whitvote for West Ottawa. So essentially the rest of what was the starting lineup last time now comes in for West Ottawa. I don't know if maybe there was a statement being made by Coach Riddell to his normal starters, including some longtime starters with guys like John Beetham, but they are now all out there, including Bosma and Beetham we saw start, and Baldwin the last time these teams played. Dump here to Regneris in the post. Swings across. Hendrickson looking for another 3. Cannot get that one. Sitterlet the hot start on the handoff for Carson Whitvote. Back for Danny Sitterlet. Tries another 3. Can't cash in. The good late defense with a hand in the face from Logan Stockwell. Final 30. Highboard tries it. Cannot hit. Early possession 3s for both teams.
Kind of both gotten each other into shooting the 3 ball pretty quickly. Even it's been open a couple times, but both teams pulling up pretty quickly as soon as they get across the half court.
Beetham with 9 in the quarter. Ryder Haight is out there to bring the defense. 4 seconds. Beetham around the Baldwin screen. Height in his face. Whitvote not able to do anything with it, and that'll end the first. The Bulldogs able to stop the bleeding just a little bit after a very red-hot start for West Ottawa and a cold start offensively again for the Bulldogs. 15-8 West Ottawa. After 1, we'll be right back.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit foldingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. It's MGN on Michigan Sports Radio, 15-8. West Ottawa, the 3-11 Panthers lead the 8-5 Grandville Bulldogs after the first frame. The Dogs do get it to start the second quarter of play, and they will get ready to go to work right here. Tyson Mann is out. Corbin Heckman is in as Tyson will get a little bit of a rest. Also Stockwell to the Bulldog bench right here. And Hendrickson will run the offense for the Bulldogs. John Beetham stays out there. Haight with some space. Got it. Ryder Haight off the bench hits a triple, and the Bulldogs within 4.
Another good sign for the Bulldogs. Ryder Haight off the bench, has the shot-making ability. Gets a nice pass from Hendrickson. Another 3 falling for the Bulldogs as they try to catch up.
Bosma pull up from the free throw line off the mark, and Hendrickson chases down the rebound. Bulldogs going to work with a little bit of pace right here. Hendrickson, hand off for the big guy, Heckman. Nice stop by the power forward, spinning on the hook, no. And the board will go West Ottawa's way on the push out of bounds. Drake Vanderwall, the senior center, also getting the start for the second quarter for West Ottawa. 7-16 in the second, 15-11. I always like on this side of the floor watching Coach Young, assistant coach Ryan Wade, the way that they coach the defense for the Bulldogs. They are out there coaching and playing, you would almost think, as much as their team are. Ragnaris skying and blocking Baldwin, and Heckman on the run out. Hendrickson. First minute of the second frame gone. Highboard, the sophomore, finding Ragnaris. Vanderwall, the defense on him with Wayrink on the bench, and Ragnaris will go to the line for one more.
Ragnaris really able to take over down there with Wayrink on the bench yet. He's got the big size advantage now. The Panthers sending the late double team, but Ragnaris able to spin to the basket. That shot was already going up as the double team arrived, and one opportunity.
Foul one on Vanderwall. See Landon Terry, the junior, up. And he will be coming in for Ragnaris, so a rest coming up here for Cam as we've seen more minutes for Terry the last couple games for the Bulldogs. Really another big junior center that the Bulldogs have to roll with. Ragnaris unable to complete the three-point play. Here's John Beetham, third-year junior guard. Stepping back on Ryder Haight. Nash Bosma on the curl, their leading scorer the last time these teams faced off. Beetham, Coach Young getting in there, clapping, charging on Ryder Haight. Beetham the drive and a travel, and the Bulldogs take over. 6:21 in the second, 15-13. Dogs can tie or take the lead here as Terry comes in for Ragnaris.
Saw the 3 from Ryder Haight earlier. There, the lockdown defense.
All right, so after the rough start, Bulldogs are down by as much as 10 midway through the first quarter. Nearly have gotten it all the way back here early. Highbore corner, Heckman. Nice move by Corbin Heckman, corner to Ryder Haight on the long feed. Terry through his legs and back the other way. Turnover, kind of unforced turnover. Will send it West Ottawa's way with 6:03 in the second.
Haight and Terry not on the same page as Terry drifting back towards the corner a little bit, kind of in between as he was going to cut towards the basket along the baseline or drift further into the corner, and errant bounce pass.
Beetham driving, helping Hendrickson, got a piece of it. Stays with, goes Grandville's way. 5:51 in the second, still a 2-point lead. Again, that matchup, Haight versus Beetham, been starring on that end of the floor ever since John Beetham came in.
Those guys both going at it, both very aggressive and very energetic on offense and defense, trying to lock each other down.
Highbore finds Terry. Lobbing for Heckman. He's able to get the catch over top of Baldwin, and a foul on Bryce Baldwin. That's the third foul on the team, first on Bryce. 5.5 in the second, 15-13. And another near line change. Every time Coach Riddell has changed his unit, he's gone 3 or 4 plus at a time. He'll do it one more time here. This includes Wayrink coming in. Almost the old Coach Calipari 2015 Kentucky method where they had the multiple lines. Highbore looking to tie, blocked by Wayrink, and the big guy going to get out and run the offense. Hands it off for Borgman. Silhouette fresh out there as well. Vellinga Poked and stolen by Hendrickson. Nicely done. Hendrickson all the way to the basket, blocked by Behrens. And it stays with Grandville. Terrific defensive execution on both ends of the floor right there on the steals.
Hendrickson able to poke it free. I think the West Ottawa coaching staff thinking that it was a double dribble as he kind of passed it to himself as he was having to step out of bounds along the sideline there.
Stockwell and Regnerus come in for Hybor and Terry here, and here is Cam Regnerus. Hendrickson down for Regnerus, stolen out of there by Theo Borgman. Lobbed ahead for Wigrink, out of his reach on a big effort after the ball. Diving back into the entrance, and the Bulldogs take over.
Wigrink's got some pretty good length to try to catch that basketball, but that one a little bit out of his reach. See Ryder Haight and Wigrink get a little bit tangled up after the play, but talking it out afterwards.
Game that was 15-5 early is ground down. Hackman up top. This feels a little bit like a traditional Grandville West Ottawa game from the last couple seasons, especially last year, some of their games. Nice move. Hendrickson to tie it, but can't get the roll. Good move, but no finish for Quinton right there. Behrens fakes, shimmies, drives, and can't score. Back with Hendrickson again. Both teams fighting it offensively right now. Ryder Haight to take the lead. Off the mark. Borgman doing the twisting and turning. He'll drive in on Heckman. Sitterlett, he's been red hot. That one hits the connector to the top, and the Bulldogs will take the ball back over. Here comes Tyson Mann for Ryder Haight. Tyson held scoreless so far at 12 points against Grand Rapids Christian, and I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the importance of number 0 rolling offensively for the Bulldogs. He'll have to do so here.
Also important, though, the Bulldogs able to keep pace and cut into that lead as Tyson Mann on the bench. That's something they've been working on. You at some point going to need to find breaks for him throughout the game and trying to find out who's going to run the offense, who's going to handle the basketball, and he's on the bench.
Mann to the basket, falls short, secures his own rebound. Heckman turns on Borgman, has a little bit of a size advantage, cannot tie the game there again, but he grabs the board and keeps the possession alive. Out of the hands of Regnerus, and finally West Ottawa and Borgman will settle it up. 3.5 in the second, 2-point lead for West Ottawa. Behrens, travel, Grandville basketball. Another turnover, a missed shot, ends of possession as both of these teams continue to fight it a little bit right now as Hungerford will come in for Hackman. A very well-earned rest, a couple really good minutes for Hackman. Even if the points weren't necessarily there, he did a lot, especially I think that matchup him on Borgman, an undersized 4 on the other side, the Bulldogs are going to keep looking to go to.
I tried to get him a couple times. Had some pretty good looks in the lane, just not capitalizing.
Hendrickson off the mark and Wigrink the board. Push to Vellinga, the sophomore. Borgman grabbed and fouled by Hendrickson. Only the team's third with 3 to go in the second. Danny Sitterlett leading all scorers with 11. Sorry, with 8 early. To the corner here for Wigrink. With 11, I was right. Here is Borgman, top of the key. He'll back it out. Borgman lobs for Wigrink, out of reach, and Tyson Mann will take it over. Push to Regnerus, skying, jamming, and tying.
Defense getting a loose basketball, get the ball in the hands of Tyson Mann. Able to feed it ahead for Regnerus, wide open lane to run, and big dunk there to tie the game.
Sitterlett takes the lead right back. He has 13. Tyson Mann still scoreless in this one. Crossing. Regneris tries the long two over top of Wigerink and can't get the finish on it. Inside 2 minutes. Vellinga driving on Tyson Mann. Interesting, the Bulldogs have chosen to put Tyson on Vellinga. That's the matchup defensively that they really want the sophomore locked down by Tyson Mann right now. 90 seconds in the second quarter. Vellinga over top of Mann. Unable to get the rattle there, and the Bulldogs with it and a chance to tie or take the lead again. Grandville has not led yet in this game. Mann drives on Behrens. Regneris for Hungerford. A whole bunch of space to take the lead. Drew Hungerford, no. Sitterlet crowded by Stockwell. Timeout, Coach Riddell. 1 minute exactly to go in the second, 17-15. West Ottawa. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS HOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and supports local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. So quick 30-second timeout. Bulldogs will break out of their huddle, and right now the story of the half has turned into struggles offensively both ways. The Bulldogs' offensive struggles have continued, but their defensive turned things around and settled the game down.
Yeah, defense for the Bulldogs holding the Panthers to just 2 points in the second quarter to this point. After a rough start for the Bulldogs, able to lock down defensively. The offense still struggling a little bit, but enough to cut back into this lead.
Nash Bosma out there defended by Hungerford. Here's Danny Sitterlet, 13 points to lead all scorers, and he's strong on that one. 47 seconds, Tyson Mann trailing by 2 with the basketball. He has not found the score sheet yet. Hendrickson has an earlier 3. He'll find Regneris in the post. Turning on Wigerink, and a block and a foul. Coach Riddell does not love the call. And that will be foul 2 on Jackson Wigerink and 4 on the team. So Regneris can tie at the lead at the line here.
Get a foul call in that matchup. Going to be very big for the rest of this game, as Wigerink thinking he had a clean block there, trying to play some good defense, go straight up and block Regneris, making a spin move in the lane, but the foul called, and now Wigerink going to have to find the bench.
He will take a seat, as you said, off that second foul call. Baldwin's in for him. Regneris goes 1 of 2 at the line. He has 7. And now Whitvote will late also check in right here. 37.3 in the second frame. Bulldogs within 1. And a real grinder here today. A day that's looking more like first of 30 or 35 is going to win this one. Remind you, the district championship, these two schools played right here last year. Here's Bosma. Hendrickson on him. John Beetham back out there. He'll get the matchup with Tyson Mann. 13 seconds. Whitvote driving on Stockwell. Bosma with 7. Bosma drives over top of Regneris. Can't get the teardrop, and that one touches the hand of Bosma. Would have been out off the Bulldogs, and with 1.6, it looks like we're going into the half, 17-16.
Long possession for the Panthers, trying to get the last shot, but still contested. Bulldogs can get one more opportunity.
Tyson Mann, 3/4 of the court. He hit one of those last time he played West Ottawa, but he cannot get that one. All right, already halftime, and a very low-scoring, tough one so far in this one. West Ottawa leading Grandville 17-16 at the break, and we welcome you inside Vanderslice Gymnasium to our Centennial Securities halftime show. Well, the story in the pregame show was Grandville's offensive struggles. They did not cease. However, they met a team that their struggles are similar, and by the way, both teams are good defensively. That's why we have a race to 30.
Yeah, it's definitely looking more like an old school matchup between these two versus the first go-round.
A little faster, though.
A little faster, just
same
the
score.
Exactly,
Right.
the score is the same. But most of the scoring coming on the 3-ball, which is a bit ironic, but then just not a whole lot else for either team. The Panthers scoring just 2 points in the second quarter, and the Bulldogs keeping pace to get this down to a 1-point game, but definitely going to be a low-scoring game, it's looking like.
Appearance from Grandville star running back Jaden Terry through the back of the shot. All right, big halftime for both these coaches to try to get something drawn up to change the course of this one. 17-16 right now, a real tough battle where both teams go into the locker room incredibly unhappy with probably their game in general right now. Defense, I think you got to be pretty happy with on both sides, but besides that, tough first half of play, 17-16 West Ottawa. Leading at the break, we're going to step aside, and we'll be right back here on Game Night.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm, and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine, and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches in state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
All right, welcome back to Grandville and the Centennial Securities Halftime Show. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer. If you were wondering tonight, actually I do not know if Brock has the coverage or not, but a big one from Grand Haven. There's other competitors that are not Michigan Sports Radio that I'm not going to list, like 6 of them that have the coverage of that game, whether it be area-wide or Grand Haven-specific broadcasts. In that one that have coverage, and I think Michigan Sports Radio is there. I did not check today. But regardless, that's a rambling statement to say that Grand Haven and Rockford are playing the exact game you're seeing out there. It was a sub-20 versus sub-20-point game at the half. Grand Haven led by a couple, and their offense has exploded in the third quarter. It's 28-22 late in the third there. Grand Haven over Rockford. So an interesting note. Take your graphic as we have another look here at the OK Red. And potentially, based on what happens there, a long way to go, just a 6-point game. Maybe have a couple more teams with 3 losses, and then we'll see what happens in some of the other games as well based on where things going. And maybe we're working on a 5-way tie if 4 wasn't enough by the end of the night. So a close one with Grand Haven winning in a grinder over Rockford at the half in that one. And then in the third quarter, Grand Haven extending that lead a little bit. On to our game here, CT, our Centennial Securities Halftime Show. The storyline, of course, like we mentioned, was the Grandville offense, and it certainly has not improved a ton. It looks more like that last game, but the difference is the defense has been there. Offensively, what are the Bulldogs looking to do in the second half?
Yeah, I think, on one hand, you've got some shot in the struggles. Those last 2 games, you see the 30 points per game. Tyson Mann was still scoring pretty effectively. I think they got to find a way to get him going again. He had a bit of an extended break at the end of the first quarter. Continuing to get him involved. The Panthers defense doing a pretty good job limiting what he's able to do off the dribble, making him have to shoot the basketball, and he hasn't been able to hit those outside shots just yet.
Tyson was held scoreless, interestingly. The only time he was held scoreless this year against Caledonia, and that loss against another kind of bottom of the OK Red team. So that's been the trend for the Bulldogs. If you're obviously, we know about Regnerus' importance, but if you're able to shut down Tyson Mann secondarily and take him out, even if everyone else is operating fairly well offensively, which they aren't necessarily tonight, they're operating well enough to be in a close game. That's something to watch in terms of what slows down the Grandville attack. For West Ottawa, very interesting rotation from Coach Riddell. We talked about a couple times. Essentially line change units every single time that he has swapped things out. Jackson Wigrant kind of quiet. I mean, Danny Sittlet with 13-17 is the only reason. His hot night is the only reason why West Ottawa has like 5 points tonight. I mean, he is incredible. He has to stay on the floor because he's feeling it. And a good move by Coach Riddell to put him in the starting lineup and get that going. But Grandville's defense has had every other possible matchup won.
Yeah, I think you really do have to wonder what the Panthers' offense would look like here tonight if Sittlet wasn't in the starting lineup or if he wasn't playing as hot as what he is right now, because as soon as he quit hitting some shots, the Bulldogs maybe respecting his offensive game a little bit more and locking him down defensively, all of a sudden the Panthers' offense slowing down as well. So they're going to have to try to find something else, whether that's continue to feed Sittlet and let him go to work and see if he can keep up some of that hot shooting from the first quarter, or if they're going to have to find something else because the offense dried up pretty considerably in the second quarter.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen it. What is kind of the one thing that Grandville's defense does when you kind of see that shifting matchup? It typically is Logan Stockwell. He's kind of the wing defender that when he gets moved on to you, I think that's kind of a trend that you're probably the hot guy that they want to shut down. Stockwell, 6'4". I mean, if you're as good of a cornerback as he is at his size, I think you'll probably be able to play some wing defense, and he certainly is able to do that and is arguably their best wing defender, most important perimeter defender, along with, Mann and, I mean, the whole team are plus defenders. But when you see that matchup change onto a wing like Sittlet, that's how you know the Bulldogs have shifted their defensive focus on a Sittlet. You still have to think the matchup between Wigrink and Regnerus is where this game's going to be won or lost down the stretch, especially if this game gets more and more grinding.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I think those guys battle back and forth, a couple fouls called either direction though, when those guys going at it, and I think Wigrink held scoreless in the first half. I think his offense is going to be big. He's going to be a big part of trying to keep him involved. It's all game long. That's what they're going to have to try to do. I think it's a tough matchup against Regnerus, but they gotta try it at some point to continue to feed him the basketball. Defensively, held Regnerus to 7 points and had some blocks down and low as well, trying to be a rim protector down there.
All right, team's back out warming up. We'll take one more break. Be back here in the Centennial Securities halftime show to get you to the second half.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
Hey, my car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
All right, welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer. That'll do it for our Centennial Securities halftime show. Second half on deck. Remember, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, tune in. Northview, Warren Lincoln, Muskegon, North Farmington from the showcase. By the way, Northview just lost by 1 to Lowell to start their second half of the season. So that makes the OK White quite a wild mess the rest of the way. But Northview just lost, and also in other games around the OK Red, Rockford down 2 to Grand Haven after the third quarter of that one. Pass out of the reach of Citterlett, out of the reach of Borgman, and the Bulldogs take over. The opening lineups from the start of the game open the second half. I was interested to see that mostly in West Ottawa's regard, with their much differing looking units they've had throughout the game. Here is Tyson Mann, as Chandler of course mentioned, halftime held scoreless in the first half. That's been a trend of teams that have been able to beat the Bulldogs, is shutting him down. Regnerus turn on Wigerink in the lane, he'll get it back. Hand off, Heckman to the line, and the Bulldogs can take the lead at the stripe. Foul is going to be on Borgman.
Great trail to the basket, and a cut from Heckman, helping bail out Regnerus, who's in a tough spot. Got the offensive rebound, but Wigerink with the body there didn't really have room to go. Heckman able to provide an outlet.
Heckman able to hatch it down and tie it. As Corbin gets on the score sheet for the first time. Despite some of the good play he's had, those are just his first points of the game, and this can be Grandville's first lead of the game. And it is. 18-17, the Bulldogs with their first advantage of the game, down as much as 15-5 at one point in time. Citterlett for Borgman. Drive from Theo Borgman to the corner. Vellinga, the sophomore, over top of Mann. High-arcing shot, can't get the roll, but Borgman settles it down. Citterlett led all scorers with 13. Tough to do in a 17-16 game in the first half. Wigerink for a driving Citterlett. Up top and stolen by Stockwell. Stockwell on Borgman. No. Rebound Hendrickson. Heckman with space. Triple try. Rebound to Wigerink. Trapped in the Bulldogs. Try to bring some pressure. Forced down here to Vellinga. The sophomore cut off by Mann. Turning the shoulder, blocked by Tyson, stolen by the senior.
Great job, be able to cut off the dribble by Tyson Mann, then holds ground, get part of that basketball on the shot.
Stockwell, corner three, short on that one. Stolen by Mann, what a reach. Tyson to the basket, able to get the two, and he's on the board. Timeout. West Ottawa, Tyson Mann, defense into offense, the high IQ play, and the Bulldogs lead by 3. We'll be right back.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
Welcome back to Grandville. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Grandville up by 3, their largest lead of the game, as they've come back down 10 at one point in this tough grinder to start off the second half of OK Red play over West Ottawa. Wild night of hoops around West Michigan tonight, with some of the other games going on as well. And West Ottawa trying to add to the storyline of upsets tonight. Feed down low, Regnerus, hands in the lane all over the place. The Bulldogs defense very active to begin the second 2 frames.
Yeah, they look motivated coming out of halftime. They're seem a half second quicker right now. They're just seeing every pass, getting a hand in those passing lanes, deflecting the basketball, even if it's not resulting in a steal, just contesting most of those passes, especially the ones going through a lot of traffic there across the lane.
Borgman to throw in. Hits Wigerink. Bosma in the game on Mann. Citterlett. Travel. Back the other way. Grandville forces another turnover.
Stockwell again there with the defense. Locking him down. Citterlett really caught in between. Couldn't drive to the basket. Didn't have a kick out to the corner. Had nowhere to go. Ended up dragging the feet.
I mean, with no one really scoring much, Centennial Security's player of the game. Here's Stockwell driving, blocked by Wigrink, but Stockwell's defense on Sitterlet has really changed the game. Here's Behrens. Borgman with 5:47 in the third. Bulldogs by 3, which is like by 15 in most games with the way this one's been going. Wigrink right on cue to the line, able to get it down inside.
Wigrink also scoreless in the first half, but good touch there. Catches it on the block, able to get some positioning on Regneris.
Tyson Mann, tough pull-up, no. And the rebound down to Borgman. First points of the game for Wigrink, hard to believe. Corner for Behrens. Bulldogs by 1. Bosma poked and stolen by Tyson Mann again. Mann to the basket, reaching to the line. Well, he's been fighting it in the half court offensively, so Tyson Mann going defense into offense again and gets himself to the line.
Tyson Mann, always a tremendous defender, but I think definitely making a statement here early in the third quarter that he was going to reverse the trend of what the first half was for him, making some plays, starting on the defensive end, staying strong on the block, getting a couple deflected passes, getting out and running, jump-starting his game.
Hybor and Baldwin are in for their respective teams. It will be Stockwell to the Bulldog bench, getting a well-deserved rest right here. And Behrens goes back to the Panther bench as well. Mann only able to go 1 of 2 at the line and extend the lead back to 2. Long lob down the floor, reverse layup. Bosma ties us at 21.
Incredible pass down the floor. There was one spot that pass could have been and for that to be a successful basket, and it was put right there just over the reach of Regneris where Bosma could still catch and go up.
Our only offense really in the full court right now. Here's Mann. He's got Bosma on him, 0-on-0 matchup. Heckman on Borgman for Hendrickson. Back to Heckman. A lot of physical defense here. Long hook, got it. What a shot by Corbin Heckman. The hook from about 8 goes, and the Bulldogs take the lead back.
Heckman trying to find somewhere to go. Didn't have anywhere. Regneris on the outside. Wasn't going to kick it there for the 3. Decides to go to the hook. Able to get it.
Bosma to take the lead back and does. Nash Bosma. A shot of life for the Panthers in the second half, and they go up 24-23. The offense is coming in droves now.
Seems to be that's the way it goes. Get one player going before you know it. Team starts to hit shots, and we've got an offensive explosion.
Here's Heckman on Wigrink. Big on big into the lane. Tyson Mann nearly stolen by Bosma. Mann drives and goes to the line. He was setting up that drive quite a bit, rocking, and eventually turns on the speed boost and goes to the line, as I think is going to be a very big part of their offense the second half. The Mann drives.
The Panthers, for the most part, trying to make Tyson Mann beat them from shooting at the perimeter, not allowing him to drive past them, but Tyson Mann got this offense going in the full court, then able to use the shot fake there to bring the defender out, blow past him.
Mann hits them both and puts the Bulldogs on top. He has 5, and the team has 25. Mann will get a rest out of it. Ryder Haight will come in. Again, as Stewie picked up on in that first half, the Bulldogs were able to kind of stop the bleeding, even bring the lead back a little bit. One man left the floor in the first half, so look to do that once again here and get their star point guard a little bit of a rest, and they bring Ryder Haight, who did hit a triple earlier, back into the game. Haight versus Nash Bosma. Bosma regathers, lobbing for Wigrink, but Regneris able to get up there. The matchup of those two on each other, always pretty consistent between those two. We saw last time seed again. They're going to lock each other down above all things else. Bosma throwing off the little drawn-up inbound play to Wigrink. Danny Sitterlet, 13 in the first half, scoreless in the second, turns the back on Hybor. Sitterlet to tie and does it. Or sorry, to take the lead and does it. .15 for Sitterlet, and West Ottawa back on top with 3 minutes in the third. Heckman across the floor, turns the corner, trying to feed Regnerus. He got kind of split out after that one. Out of all the scrum, Bosma pushed it along and came back to him. Then Baldwin wildly keeps it into Ciderlet. An extended turnover somehow stays with West Ottawa.
Coach Riddell for the Panthers now making sure they slow this down a little bit. Saved your possession a couple times. Now try to get something out of it.
Tyson Mann immediately back up from the bench to come in. Bosma for Ciderlet. The defense from Highbore on him as the sophomore's been forced to pick him up. Switch, Ciderlet, triple try. Falling short, and the rebound down to Regnerus. Quinn Hendrickson opened the Bulldogs scoring with a triple back in the first. Turn from Regnerus, got the touch. Tough shot over top of Wigerink goes. 9 for Regnerus, and the Bulldogs back on top as we continue to go tick for tat down the stretch.
That's just a good move and a difficult shot. Wigerink there defensively, forcing him to spin that way, and just a difficult shot. Nice bounce, friendly bounce off the rim.
Force feed from Bosma, stolen away as the Bulldogs again were able to keep Wigerink on the perimeter of that possession. 1:44 in the third. Feed to Regnerus on the entry. Turn the shoulder, can't get the finish. Rebound Hendrickson flying into the lane. He'll reset the offense. He's had a few of those in this game, flying from the perimeter to grab the boards. Stockwell. A foul is called on Regnerus. Tyson Mann will get set to check back in. That's the first foul of the half on the Bulldogs. And foul 2 on Cam Regnerus. Whitvote is in for West Ottawa, 1:20 in the third.
Likely going to be a turnover there either way, as Heckman trying to throw it down in the paint for Regnerus, but spun the other direction from what he was anticipating. That pass was going out of bounds, but the foul on Regnerus and the push-off before that.
Hungerford will come in for Highbore. Both teams continue to grind in half-court, man-to-man defensive sets. Man got a hand on that one again. Bosma at the free throw line trying to take the lead back off the mark. Spiked in bounds by Wigerink and taken back the other way out of the gut of Hendrickson. Whistle off the ball. And a foul on Baldwin. Foul 4 on West Ottawa this half. Foul 2 on Baldwin. 27-26 Grandville inside the final minute of the third already.
Wigerink saving that basketball on the opposite end of the floor. Led to the mismatch down low. Regnerus had the size, and the foul eventually called on Baldwin.
Man driving to the rack. Oh, a very, very unfriendly touch. It looked more down than out. And West Ottawa back the other way with Bosma for Whitvote. Settled down by Vellinga. The sophomore watched by Hendrickson. Bulldogs have upped the pressure, it feels like, a little bit out of the defense in this second half, grinding even more. Whitvote. 5 for Wigerink. The big guy steps out and knocks it down, and West Ottawa leads by 2.
That's where Wigerink maybe going to have a little advantage, shooting from the outside beyond the arc. Regnerus a little bit late on the closeout, thinking he could get there, but Wigerink over the top.
Hendrickson around the screen ties it. 5 for Quentin Hendrickson. Balance scoring for the Bulldogs, and it's 29 all. Whitvote to the basket with 2. No, and we go to the final frame tied. Do not go anywhere. Not that you had any thoughts of going anywhere. Who is going to win the first game of the second half of the OK Red? West Ottawa looking for the upset. The Bulldogs looking to stay on top of the OK Red. We will be right back.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
"You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring."
and it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Final frame, 29-29. We've picked up the pace a little bit, I guess. It was looking like first to 30 for a while, and I guess we aren't quite there yet, but we start the final frame. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Grandville tied with West Ottawa to the final quarter, and the Bulldogs start the ball. Mann driving, whipping free and scoring. 7 for Tyson Mann, and the senior answers right on cue to start the final frame.
All 7 in the second half, right away in the fourth quarter, curling strong to the basket.
Bosma to take the lead back for the Panthers. And Vellinga unable to save it. The Bulldogs take back over. I think a pretty big stretch right here. It looked like Grandville was about to go on a run at the start of the third quarter. They didn't sustain it. We'll see if they can do it here at the start of the fourth. Mann got the motion going with Haight across the floor. Nearly out of the way of Mann, able to settle down. Mann, pull up, tough, unable to rattle. Bosma picked up by Hungerford. Here's Vellinga for Nash Bosma. First minute gone, final frame. Carson Whitvote carries. And it goes Grandville's way. When's the last time you saw a carry called in modern basketball? I'm not sure. That might be the first carry called in the entire sport in the year 2023.
I think it's probably the first one we've seen this year.
I think so.
Calling some games. I know that's something you are very aware of and looking for.
Not that I'm a curmudgeon, but I am. Top of the key, it'll be Hendrickson to run the offense with 6:40 in the fourth. Zoom action on the Mann, driving. Can't get the finish there, another tough take. What a steal by Hendrickson. Bulldogs with numbers. Ryder Haight to the basket. No, the follow, Tyson Mann. Timeout, West Ottawa. Mann bringing the crowd to their feet on both ends of the floor. Great steal first off from Quentin Hendrickson. And the Bulldogs lead by 4. Centennial Securities is a community service-focused, locally owned investment firm with strong Midwestern values. Since the day they opened their doors in 1978, they have and will continue to recognize that it's not prudent to take a one-size-fits-all approach to investing. Check out Centennial Securities online at centennialsec.com. Defense into offense. We knew, Chandler, that was going to be a very important way that this one went down the stretch, but the steal from Hendrickson, some of the active hands from Mann, they're able to turn defense into easy buckets on a day where neither team is able to really score in the half court because of the defense, because they're fighting the shooting. You need that sort of offense to be found off the defensive end of the floor. The Bulldogs doing it.
Yeah, the Bulldogs done. The Panthers have tried to as well. They've been able to up their scoring a little bit in the same way, but the Bulldogs capitalizing a little bit more, able to get some turnovers, get out and run a little bit. It's been Tyson Mann in the second half getting his scoring going. Shots not falling, having some difficulties getting some open looks, creating your offense that way, getting the Bulldogs going.
.6:14 to go, 33-29. Theo Borgman to take it here for the Panthers. Drive from Wigerink. Foul on Cam Regneris, that is 3. Again, Wigerink not afraid to get out and handle the basketball, slashing and cutting a little bit right there, and in that case, he draws the foul from Cam, which is now 3 with 6 minutes to go.
I think that's a matchup you probably look to with Regneris staying out there with the 3 fouls.
Here is the matchup. Wigerink over top of Regneris, blocked by Cam, and the Bulldogs the ball. Mann versus Bosma. They matched up a lot the first time these teams played. Mann driving to the basket, blocked hard by Wigerink. Out of nowhere from behind, the 6'9 senior, able to get all of it. Bosma Sitterlet trying his luck again, off the mark. Tie up, hard fought after that one. Stays with West Ottawa on the alternating possession. 5:37 in the fourth, 33-29. Barons will come in here for the Panthers as Baldwin takes a seat. Aggressiveness of this game upping a notch out of the timeout as well.
Yeah, with the scoring at a premium, you get late in the game, couple possessions, still very much in the balance here. Each possession becomes more and more valuable.
Sitterlet turns on man, unable to finish, and Tyson the rebound. That was kind of a switch that West Ottawa was probably okay going to with the size advantage to Sitterlet. He'll be on man defensively here. Quinn Hendrickson around the Regnerus screen into some space. He thought about it. Instead, will hand off for Ryder Haight. Wegerink switched on to Haight. Mismatch down low. They find it. Regnerus turns. Blocked. Foul. It's on Wegerink. 5:08 in the fourth, 33-29. Wegerink just a little late there on the rotation. And that's 3 on Wegerink to go the 3 on Regnerus as they continue to match each other in every way.
Perfect timing on that entry pass. Regnerus just slipping around the defender, pass in the perfect spot. The only problem, Regnerus got his legs a little bit tied up. So he was trying to go, probably would have had a dunk opportunity, but lost his balance enough, but the foul committed either way.
Regnerus stays stuck at 9 points in the game as Stockwell will come in for Hungerford. One more for Regnerus to try to up it to a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs. Already at their largest mark of the game. Got it. So, Regnerus to double-digit scoring, and the Bulldogs up 5. Final 5. Here is Borgman. For Barons and back. 2 points for Borgman offensively in this one. Bosma curling, corner. Sitterlet had some space to close out from Regnerus to shut it off. Barons able to get man to go up and get the finish. Tyler Barons on the score sheet for the first time, and West Ottawa back within a score.
Good patience down low. It's a smaller player there. You don't want to rush that shot. You're trying to avoid some of the height down there, but it lets the defender fly by.
Stockwell trying to find Regnerus. Bodies all over the place, and a foul is going to be called on Stockwell on the leveling hit to Jackson Wegerink down low.
A couple Bulldogs hitting the floor. Regnerus lost the basketball initially, was diving down, trying to get the tie ball, and then Stockwell coming flying in late as the basketball still bouncing around a little bit and still free.
Just the first foul on Stockwell, the third on the team. Borgman again to run the offense. Hendrickson the defense. Borgman driving on Ryder Haight, and Haight a foul from behind. Now 4 fouls on the Bulldogs. 4:05 in the fourth. First foul on Ryder Haight. Grandville trying to stay atop the OK Reds. Survived this one tonight. Lobbed into Wegerink. Off his foot, but regathered. Bosma. Poke to the back court for Borgman. Sitterlet triggers another 3. Foul to go to the line for 3. 3 quick fouls in succession by the Bulldogs. They get Stockwell, and it sends Sitterlet, who's been stuck at 13 since the first half, to the line here.
Stockwell going over top of the screen at the top of the key, fighting through it, but Sitterlet stopping and pulling up, and Stockwell running through the shot.
Sorry, Sitterlet had 2 in this half so far. He's at 15, but he's unable to rattle the first home. Stockwell out, Hungerford in. One more for Citolette to bring the Panthers within one. $17 for Danny Citolette. 3:40 to go in the fourth. Man defended by Behrens. Regneris, corner, Haight, extra feed, Hendrickson triple, can't get it. Rebound to Hungerford, possession stays alive for the Bulldogs. 3:17 in the fourth, Bulldogs by one. Hungerford stared at it but decides otherwise. Man, around the screen. Hungerford finds Haight, curling into space. Can't hit the knockdown. Regneris will go to the line.
Methodical possession from the Bulldogs. A couple offensive rebounds keep the possession alive, but never rushing a shot. Hungerford might have been able to rush up a three a couple different times, electing to hold on to it, get a quality look. Ryder Haight misses the mid-range shot, but Regneris in good spot on the weak side to get the offensive rebound.
Regneris with 11. The Bulldogs by two. A night of upsets around West Michigan. We talked about Northview, Grand Haven trying to be Rockford, a lot of other close, kind of tight games as well. The Bulldogs trying to avoid that upset and stay atop the OK Red. Regneris puts him back up 3 with 2:53. Borgman for Wigerink, got the position and brings the Panthers back within one.
Able to get nice passes. Wigerink gets past Regneris. Regneris have to play that one careful with 3 fouls. Don't want to commit one there in a situation where Wigerink already looking at the 2 points and don't want the and one opportunity to go along with it.
Hungerford reaching past Regneris, blocked by Wigerink. Borgman watched across the floor by Hendrickson. Down low, the switch. Wigerink got the matchup he wanted, goes on the floor with Haight. Ryder Haight saves a ball that was surely going out of bounds, calls the timeout, and able to save the possession for the Bulldogs. Just under 2 to go in the fourth, 36-35. Scott Bates is your local Grandville, Jenison, and Hudsonville Farmers Insurance agent, and is a great longtime supporter of Game Night and offers business insurance, auto, homeowners coverage, and more. Give Scott a call today at 616-531-3441. We're stopping in the agency located at 3181 Prairie Street Southwest in Grandville. All right, CT, it remains a tough one, and it remains a 1-point game. We got the Zoom turned up for some reason. This is what happens when you try to self-produce the broadcast. 1-point game, and the defense continues to rise to the occasion for both teams.
Yeah, how about that possession right there from Ryder Haight, able to somehow get the basketball back. The Panthers got the switch they wanted on the pick and roll. Got Ryder Haight matched up against Wigerink. Got Wigerink the basketball, and Haight somehow able to reach in there, poke the basketball free. There's a couple bodies going down the floor. The basketball gets thrown up somehow right to Ryder Haight laying on the floor there. And Smart quick calls a timeout, saves the possession for the Bulldogs. And of course, every possession, it's been working this way the entire game. Every possession meaning so much, but especially now under 2 minutes, 1-point lead.
Mann, Heckman, Regneris, Hendrickson, Haight, the Bulldog unit. Borgman, Wigerink, Citolette, Behrens, Nash, Bosma for West Ottawa. Mann for Hendrickson, thought about it. Reaching pass for Regneris. With the back turned on Jackson Wigerink. .136 in the ball game, and the Bulldogs going to take some air out of the basketball. Hendrickson around the screen for a cutting man to the basket, foul, and Tyson to the line for 2. 1:27 to go, 36-35. Hungerford set to check back in for the Dogs.
Tyson man working off the ball that time. Hendrickson working the dribble, coming that way to the right side. Tyson Mann clearing out that way, making a backdoor cut.
Got it. Tyson has found double-digit scoring, all of which coming in the second half. Hackman takes a seat. Hungerford comes on. A little defense for offense, maybe there's the thought. Inside the final 90 seconds. Big 2 for Tyson Mann. Wigerink gonna drive on Regnerus. Bosma to the corner, followed by Haight. Wigerink whips for Borgman. Theo Borgman reaching Wigerink. Puts it on the floor. Inside the final minute. Grandville by 3. Second call, Grandville basketball. 45.7 to go.
Right there, the defensive intensity that we've seen building for a while, resulting in a turnover. 5-second call. Quentin Hendrickson, the one applying the pressure there most of that possession. But really, the defense as a whole, they're making that a very long possession. Panthers down 3 points, unable to get anything out of that.
Baldwin and Hackman each in for the respective teams. And the Panthers bring the pressure. Tyson Mann racing over the timeline. Bumped into from behind, and that will send Tyson to the line for a 1-and-1. He'll get Behrens for his second. And again, defense for offense. It's Hungerford and Sitterlet in, and then Baldwin and Hackman back to the bench. So those are the rotations that we'll see down the stretch. Final 40.
This man been pretty busy at the free throw line. He's made 5 already on the night. Looking to add a couple more here and make this a 2-possession game.
12 for Mann and the Bulldogs. Lead by 2 scores with 40 seconds. Mann looking to help win the race to 40 here. Does. He's the guy they want at the line. We've said it all year long when it comes down to it. Borgman lobbing Wigerink, poked out of there by Regnerus. The Bulldog defense coming up big again down the stretch. Tip to Mann, followed by Borgman with 25. 1-and-1 for Tyson Mann. Has a chance to try to ice it a little bit more. Felt a little bit like that Tuesday win over Jenison all night long. It just was never comfortable at any point in time. This was maybe even less comfortable than that Jenison game was throughout the contest, but it was at the Bulldog style. At the end of the day, they're plenty comfortable winning a game like this if they have to, if neither offense is there. A guy like Tyson Mann going for potentially 15 if he hits this in the second half certainly helps a little bit as well. Summers and Bellinger will check in.
Yeah, they're missing his scoring ability in the first half, and when he gets going, he can be the creator for this offense. He can be the ball handler that drives to the rim, tries to get some foul calls, or makes some very difficult shots.
Mann hits it. 15 points for Tyson Mann. And take a bow. Tyson, he'll go to the bench for Summers. Bulldogs going to pressure the inbound here. 22 seconds. Borgman down 7. Largest lead of the game for the Bulldogs. Blocked by Regnerus. Borgman steps out of bounds, and the Bulldogs take it. Tyson Mann back up from the bench. Going a little defense for offense and getting a word in from Coach Young with him as well right there. West Ottawa will bring the pressure. I think mostly probably a chance for Coach Young to dial up what was going to be coming against the pressure here. Grandville set to recover, stop the losing streak, and go to 9-5 on the year. If they can hang on 15.9 here. West Ottawa will lose their 4th in a row tonight, as Coach Riddell is having an extended conversation with the official over the end of that last play, and he's not happy at the end of it. Inbounded to Man. Man to the line.
Coach Riddell there for the Panthers was potentially working on a technical.
Coach Riddell is not happy. You can't see him right now on screen with Shifted. He wants another talk with the officials. They were trying to get Bryce Baldwin, one of his assistants, up from the bench. He was not having it. He is about as unhappy as I've ever seen a coach in this sort of circumstance at the end of a multi-possession game like this. Man hits it. There's a whistle before. They're bringing Vellinga in. Whistle's going to be before the shot. As Riddell was late to make that substitution, they give it to him, though, and Man will have to shoot again. And he misses the front end that time. But it's a double bonus. That was 10. Now, part of it was Borgman had fouled out. They had to get him off, and that's what some of the confusion, I think, was going back to. If they had to get someone in for him. Man hits 1 of 2. He has 16, all in the second half. Final 12.6. Here's Bosma. Pull up 3. Missed it all. And Wigerink is just unable to save it. 4.9. Coach Riddell not quite going to call off the dogs yet, though. Inbounded here to Hendrickson. Now he will. Grandville needed a win tonight, to say the least, after a couple of tough ones in a row. But Grandville, with the win, will stay atop the OK Red in the big mess of a tie that we've seen atop the Red. 43-35. Grandville able to hang on and win this one here tonight. It was a wild night, I think, across West Michigan, and we saw some upsets, we saw some crazy games, and it nearly turned into one of those for the Bulldogs, but we were able to go to the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency with a Bulldog win in a tough one here tonight.
Yeah, some trying times, especially early on in that first quarter when we're talking about they need some momentum. This is a game they had circled. They probably need to right the ship here tonight, and you come out and have some first quarter struggles. You go down double digits, if not almost double digits, and able to battle back at the end of the day, playing some strong basketball throughout the last 3 quarters and able to get a win and turn things around.
All right, Grandville to 9-5 on the year. West Ottawa to 3-12. We're going to step aside, be right back here on the Bates Agents pregame show. We'll have some stats. We'll have the Centennial Securities Player of the Game. We'll wrap it up, and by the way, we'll also preview tomorrow again. We're back on the air 3 o'clock from the 2K23 Showcase at Aquinas. We'll be right back here on Game Night.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. 43-35. Grandville survives over West Ottawa tonight on an upset night throughout West Michigan. I mean, you almost have to wonder if the Fox 17 blitz account was hacked tonight. Byron Center beat GR Christian. Reese Puffer beat Muskegon. Lowell beat Northview. According to that, I mean, seriously, you'd almost think that the Fox 17 account had to have been hacked with the kind of night we had. I know Hamilton went into overtime against Allendale, even to try to survive on that. Grandville barely survives here. Okay. So Muskegon beat Reese Puffer big. I think there was a misprint potentially from one thing. Muskegon beat Reese Puffer big. So disregard that. The rest, I don't know, but I mean, I'm assuming that they're going to be correct, but disregard that. Muskegon did beat Reese Puffer big. This is Big J journalism on the fly right here. Grandville wins, though, Chandler. And you have our scoring recap. Please give it to us so I can get out of this.
All right, yes. For the Panthers, leading scorer Citterlet with 17, Wigrink with 7, Bosma with 5, Barons, Borgman, and Bellinga each with 2 points. For the Bulldogs, leading scorer Tyson Mann with 16 points, all in the second half. Cameron Ignaris with 12, Hendrickson with 5, Heckman with 4, Stockwell and Haight both with 3 points.
I can confirm the Lowell over Northview scores right. Lowell has 51-50, the upset of the night. So we'll call it upset night on that. At least the Bulldogs do survive it. Centennial Securities player of the game. A lot of different ways to go, but I think Tyson Mann. I mean, he winds up finding 16 points, and he does it all in the second half, and he leads the charge back for the Bulldogs. I mean, I think Mann going to have to fit into that with the kind of low-scoring night it was, what he meant in the second half.
Yeah, I think the way he took over the game and allowed this offense to find a little bit of a scoring touch. I think they were struggling a little bit. Tyson Mann gets going in the full court, making some defensive plays, turning that into offense. I do think Logan Stockwell had a strong case on the defensive end of the floor, what he was doing to shut down Citterlet in the middle part of the game after he had an incredibly hot start. But the way Tyson Mann battled back after being held scoreless in the first half is an impressive performance.
All right, Grandville wins. It's a split on the night after the West Ottawa girls won to open things up. Remember, tomorrow on MGN, radio coverage beginning at 3 o'clock. A note to everyone that wants to write on our YouTube page, no, we cannot do video. I would like to do video, but we cannot, despite everyone's best wishes on that. And I know that the camera's on us, and I know it seems easy that we could just flip it around, but just per the rules, we cannot. I know no one that's going to watch tomorrow and comment from the other side of the state is listening now, but if you are, there's your note. Northview, who lost, so they're going to be hungry against Warren Lake. And Muskegon, who did not, I believe, going up against North Farmington. And, wild night. It was upset night across West Michigan tonight, and the Bulldogs nearly fell victim to upset night, but they hang on. They beat West Ottawa. They're 6-2 overall on the OK Red season, and 9-5 overall in the year. And the Bulldogs remain in that tie atop the OK Red. He is Chandler Timmer. I am Nate Dreyer. This is Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. We'll see everyone tomorrow from Aquinas, 3 o'clock. A really good doubleheader in that one. See everyone later.